Let's welcome the visiting team onto the field. Brought to you by Peachtree Orthopedic Clinic. Here they are. Let's show the Buffalo Bandits and their head coach, Troy Quarterly, some Southern hospitality. Tonight's NLL officials are crew chief Ian Garrison, assistant referee Matt Garrison, assistant referee Sean Grenier, and shot clock operator James Tower. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as Tajana Carter sings the national anthem.
Welcome to Harris Cherokee Casino Field at the Infinite Energy Arena for Georgia Swarm Lacrosse. Tonight, the Swarm welcome the Buffalo Bandits. Hi, everybody. I'm Mark Zeno, joined by my partner, as always, Brian Silcott. Brian, it's been an improbable and historic season for the Swarm so far. Add one more piece of history to that list. They have clinched the #1 overall seed in the East and will host a home playoff game here for the first time in franchise history. We knew they were going to be good. We knew they were going to be competitive, but we didn't know they would be this good.
Yeah, and we were hoping they were going to be good too, right? I think it all started with the offseason, and owner Andy Arlotta went out and got Mike Pullen to play in the net. Championship caliber goaltender who has experience there, has won a championship. Then he moved on to the defense. He got bigger, faster, stronger, and the coaching staff created a physical attitude back there. Strong, physical, and they'll outrun you as well. And then finally the offense. We had a great group there all along, but now they're a little bit more mature, they're a little bit more savvy, they're a little bit more in control of themselves, a little bit more patient, and they take the time to make spectacular goals like this one right there by Mr. Thompson.
Still lots left to play for the Swarm as they go for a franchise record 11 wins, something that head coach Ed Como talked about with our own Drew Pretkoff.
Hey guys, thanks for throwing down here. The attitude in the dressing room is that you have to earn the division title. So even though the title is clinched, everybody wants to go out there and everybody wants to go into the playoffs on a high note. We want to win out and we want to hit the playoffs running. So the key word here is earn it. Everybody wants to earn it.
Thanks, Drew, and certainly the Swarm have a lot left to earn as far as, you know, when you look at the way they played this year, a lot of people seem to have doubted them, but this guy that we're staring at right now gave them reason to believe that they could do it, as Mike Poulin was one of the biggest additions.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike Poulin was a huge addition, both in terms of what he's actually done in the net, standing in there and preventing the ball from going in there, but also what he's done in terms of attitude and approach and championship attitude he's brought to this team.
Also got to look at David DeRusio's in net tonight for the Buffalo Bandits. And, you know, the Bandits come in, they're a younger team. They decided to get younger, and they've struggled a little bit as we look at head coach Eddie Como's got to be pleased with everything the Swarm have accomplished so far.
Absolutely. I mean, this is the team they wanted to build, and it's the team that I think John Arlotta has dreamed of, and Ed Como's given him. And Buffalo's now kind of in the opposite situation where they're the young team that needs to grow and develop.
We are away here. Another face-off won by the Swarm as Jordan McIntosh has been winning about 50% of the face-offs this year. And the Swarm have a little mini streak going. They've scored 21 goals in back-to-back games. We'll see if they can do it again tonight.
That would be a fun streak to keep going for sure.
And a first shot right there by Shane Jackson, saved by DeRusio as Jackson gets hit to the turf. And it is going to be a violation on the Bandits.
It looked like a loose ball push, they called it. He kind of looked like he pushed him when he saw the ball, but they gave him the loose ball push, so it's just possession.
Bad pass right there by the Swarm, intercepted by the Bandits, is sprinting up the field. And setting things up offensively was Tim Edwards. And ball loose on the turf, Edwards gets it back. And here's Dane Smith, their big scorer. And a quick shot to score. Yeah, cutting Pat Saunders gets a feed from Smith.
Little confusion in the transition there through substitutions. Left a man wide open. They stepped two guys down to Dane Smith, which stepping two guys down to Dane Smith isn't a bad idea, but it's tough to do it in transition when guys are coming off the bench and you end up leaving someone wide open cutting to the goal.
So Saunders gets the first tally. Saunders came over mid-season from New England. And
Saunders is having an excellent year this year, scoring a lot of points, getting a lot of shots off, and thus far has been a good addition to this team. They really needed him when Ryan Benesh was out. Now they have both Saunders and Benesh playing, which should be interesting. Well,
that was his 23rd goal of the year, 13 of those coming with the Buffalo Bandits. So he's been a big part of what they're doing offensively. And we'll see how the Swarm respond as the Bandits are back on offense. Here is Anthony Malcolm. Dane Smith with a shot that rattles off the crossbar, and the long rebound goes all the way back to DeRusio.
And we do have over and back in this league, but it's not, if it hits the goalie or the goal cage, it's not considered over and back. That is a shot, and you're able to retrieve the ball and keep playing.
And Malcolm matched up against Rannigan, feeds it in the middle. Dane Smith with a low bounce shot, saved by Poulin, and a rebound is in. The initial save was made by Poulin, and two Swarm defenders are right there and didn't corral the loose ball, and it looked like Ryan Benesh who picked it up and dumped the loose trash right in the back of the net.
Yeah, Ryan Benesh is a great goal scorer. A lot of them were a lot more difficult than that one. That was just a basic, they didn't close down around the crease and didn't get on bodies and prevent him from picking up the ball. Joel White turned looking for the ball. Your first instinct always has to be to check the man in front of the net, and then you find the lacrosse ball.
So the Swarm in an early 2-0 hole. Sure not the start that they had wanted, and we just heard when we talked to Drew Petkoff prior to the game about it's not that they're being lax right now, but this is, you know, not typical what we've seen from the Swarm.
Absolutely, and on the flip side, Buffalo's come out looking aggressive on the defensive end and aggressive on the offensive end, which is typical Buffalo Bandit style lacrosse.
And here's Brian Cole's shot and score! The rookie defender from Maryland did it all himself there, Brian.
Yeah, you and I were talking about this guy before the game, about the trio of big, fast, strong defenders they have, Brian Cole being one of them. And I say defender, he's a transition guy. He was a midfielder in college, scored a lot of goals, first-team All-American. This kid can play offense.
Look at this pump fake, sends DeRusio right down to his knees and then goes right over the top of him.
Literally on his knees. I think he was setting that up too. Gave a couple of easy pumps, then the hard fake down low to drop DeRusio to his knees.
So the Swarm get right back in it as we're just 2 minutes into the action, 3 goals already. And now the Swarm will try to tie things up. And we get the usual suspects on offense now. As we see Kyle Matisse try to feed Randy Stotts. Stotts has to corral it. 9 seconds left in the shot clock. Stotts loses it again. And now they'll have to make something happen fairly quickly. And a shot is wide and rebounded by.
Nice job on the pick and roll there by Buffalo, playing it really well on the right-handed side, communicating and sliding from man to man.
Here's Steenhouse. Steenhouse comes into the game 54 points. Dumps it over to Malcolm, who loses this ball. Jason Noble doing a good job defending him, chasing him around. Malcolm eludes away, and then another shot hits the crossbar.
No help from the backside there. The righties were kind of on their own as the opposite side of the floor. The lefties were being guarded man-to-man. No help coming on that move over the top.
You know, Malcolm did a little nice body check to free himself away from Noble as those two have matched up again, and then just spun around. And as you said, nobody closed out on him. And now we get a goal.
Interesting what happened in that series there. The first time Steenhouse sets the pick for Malcolm. Malcolm gets over the top and comes clean down the middle of the floor with no help from the backside. That time they run a similar play on the ball side here. Steenhouse setting the pick over the top. Now someone takes a peek to help. They get the guy open on the backside for the easy goal. That's a tough one for Mike Poland to get to when it comes all the way across the field like that.
Benesh with his second of the night, 23rd on the year. And it's back to a 2-goal lead. Face-off violation on Jordan McIntosh will get the ball to Buffalo. McIntosh seemed to have a quick word with Ian Garrison about it. But here's Dane Smith. Feeds it in the middle, and that cut, that's the third or fourth time, Brian, we've seen that cut from Ryan Benesh in the offensive zone. They had a great scoring opportunity there again.
Yep, and they'll keep throwing it into him. Benesh has got great hands, he's got a great touch when he's finishing, and he's got guys on the right-handed side that can get him that ball on his stick in those instances. You have to be tight on him. You got to be checking him as he's cutting. In this game, you basically play cutters like they're carrying the ball.
Benesh now over to Steenhouse, who's matched up against Belial. And passer Dane Smith misses its target. Brannigan picks up the loose ball. Brannigan sprints towards the offensive zone, can't break free, and now will turn it over. And the Swarm offense will come out. 20 on the shot clock. Here's Jordan Hall. Tries to throw it in the corner to Lyle Thompson. Ball is loose. And Miles fighting for it, and he loses it. Sloppy pass by the Swarm.
Yeah, that's the third one already, I think, for this bad turnover by Georgia. And again, odd man situation here for Buffalo.
And here is Brownwell and a save from Poulin. You know what's happening, too, that we've seen the last couple with the turnover. The offensive players are trying to stick check and body check, and the Buffalo players seem to be too fast.
Just running right by him.
Yeah.
And they're getting caught in the transition game of changing on the bench. I think that's the third or fourth odd man rush Buffalo's already had.
Well, let's see the Swarm settle in here and get back to the crisp passing that we know, and they can't hold on to the ball right now, Brian. As you see another pass that hits the floor.
The bad passing and no flow to the offense, but like that last pass was kind of both guys were running ready to throw the pass, wasn't really ready to receive it.
So a very non-fluid start for the Swarm. Don't really know how you describe that, but nonetheless, they're down by 2, 9:57 left. We'll take a timeout. You're watching Georgia Swarm Lacrosse on NLLTV.com.
Tonight's game is brought to you in part by Sports Interaction, Canada's home for worldwide sports betting. Bet responsibly at sportsinteraction.com. Disclaimer, only residents of Canada may open an account with Sports Interaction. The service is not available to users outside of Canada. Tonight's game is
on the take, scores. Now back over to Dane Smith with a shot. Hit the goal post inside, he scores!
Afraid you might miss out on the big stories from your favorite team? Well, not to fear, the NLL newsletter is here. All you have to do is subscribe to the new NLL newsletter, and you'll get weekly updates from everything that is happening around the league. What are you waiting for? Subscribe today.
He's got Digby on the take, scores.
Drew Pekoff as well with us as the Swarm find themselves down 3-1 here in the early going. And we've seen games like this from the Swarm earlier on. Just takes them a little while to get into the flow of the offense, the crisp passing, and the sharing of the ball that we're used to seeing just hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, we talk about it a lot. They seem like a flow team. Once the ball starts going in the net, it goes in more easily. Often it starts with a couple of nice saves from Mike Pullen. We've seen over and over again to get them going. We need one of the two to happen to kind of swing things right now. They need to get some movement on offense and get a little fluidity in their offense, or Mike Pullen's going to need to step up and swing things back the other way for them.
So here come the Bandits. Here's Steenhouse. Throws it in the middle to Saunders. Ball is loose on the deck and then picked up. And fought for him. And finally, it is Connor Sellers who gets it.
And Buffalo starting out really wide. I would assume hoping they can get Georgia to step out a little bit instead of playing the normal tight defense. Georgia having none of it there, though, sitting back and waiting for Buffalo to come to them.
And here's Shane Jackson over to Stotts. Stotts cuts inside, tries to flip it back to Miles Thompson. And that pass misses the mark. And now the Swarm have to fight for it again off the turf. And a bad pass there also, as the Swarm just kind of throw it in as the shot clock's about to expire.
It's an interesting thing, and as sloppy as that looks, that last one, if that little flip pass over the shoulder hits the mark, maybe things are a little bit different. They need to connect on those passes. They need to get.
And he gets beat again. Mike Pullen gets beat again by Anthony Malcolm. And another cutter coming across.
Another cutter wide open in front of the net. You know, it'd be great if Pullen stops these, but when a guy's coming all alone through the middle of the floor, it's pretty difficult to make the stop.
And also from his blind side. I mean, look where he's looking, and all of a sudden, by the time the pass is in Malcolm's stick, Pullen is just slow to react, and that's, you know, it's hard to blame it all on him.
Pullen even sat on that pipe, and he still beat him on that far side. He was on that pipe, snuck it between the leg and the goal pipe.
Anthony Malcolm with his 9th goal of the year. And the Swarm now have done something that they haven't done at all in the last 2 games, and that's trail.
So far, Malcolm's been a force for them on offense, really, handling the ball and making plays for them, for Buffalo.
And a long attempt at a pass, and it's incomplete. Here's Dane Smith cutting inside, a bounce shot, and he scores. And it is a 5-1 game in the blink of an eye, Brian.
And that's just straight up one-on-one. Dane Smith, Joel White, and Dane Smith wins.
28th goal of the year for Smith. 74th point.
Joel White just playing him a little too square. You got to send him one way or the other. Either force him to go underneath, force him to go up top. Joel White playing him squared up there and lets him get underneath. With that kind of angle, Dane Smith's a big, strong guy. He's going to get a good shot off.
6'3", 200 pounds for Dane Smith, and he's bigger than most of the guys out on the field.
I think if Dane is big, he also happens to be fast and quick, which makes him very difficult to guard.
Yeah, Edwards and McIntosh on the faceoff, won by Jordan. And the Swarm will start things offensively. They just got to put together, I'd just like to see a possession where, you know, they have a good scoring opportunity and some clean passes where the ball doesn't hit the turf.
Yeah, we need to get some touches on offense, get the ball moving side to side.
There's Palace with a shot that is wide. And Matisse is there for the long rebound. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Over to Jordan Hall. Hall pump fakes, his shot is wide, and we're going to get a shot clock violation on the Swarm.
So really nothing going on offense for the Swarm right now. And a credit to the Buffalo Bandits. Their defense has not been outstanding this year. Their goaltending has not been outstanding, but they're stepping up right now.
And you just saw David DeRuzio, who's only had to face 2 shots on net so far.
And that's another Buffalo player wide open in front of the goal.
That was Ryan Benesh again, almost put his 3rd into the quarter. They're going to have to do something about these cuts. I mean, I don't know how you can continue to let guys keep moving like that.
Yeah, they need to be more physical off ball and just put a body on these guys. That was confusion in pick and roll off ball. 2 guys step into the guy that came over the top, leaving underneath one wide open.
And another shot clock violation. These are not the Swarm that we're used to seeing. That pass misses its mark to Benesh. Ranigan picks up the rebound and now is in the wrong end of our odd man rush. It's a 1-on-3 scenario.
1-on-3.
He's on the wrong part of the odd. Here's Johnny Powlis.
It's also taking them a long time to get into the offense. Seems like they're short on the shot clock every time they begin playing offense.
And that's a great scoring opportunity for Shane Jackson from Paulus, and Ruzio comes up with the save. That might have been the best shot attempt they've had all evening so far.
I think it was. Yeah, other than the one goal, that was definitely the best look at the cage.
There's Saunders with a shot and a save from Poulin.
That's what we need. A couple saves from Poulin, get them taking some outside shots that Mike gets a good look at him, fits his body in front, starts to gain some confidence.
Pass in the middle to Miles Thompson, has to fight off the defense of Matt Bennett. Flips it back to Paulus, who scores! You know, Paulus will get the goal, but give a hell of an assist to Miles Thompson.
Yeah, and a great job by Bennett on defense, right? Does an excellent job defending it, turning him away from the cage. But Thompson's just persistent, keeps driving, gets that man to step across the crease, leaving his buddy Johnny Powell's wide open on the backside.
And that doesn't even show the whole of it, as we were talking about when Miles Thompson originally got the ball.
Started with a one-handed catch, almost in front of the cage. Got ridden all the way around. Again, great defense, but ultimately he drew the help on the backside, wide open Johnny Powell.
That's the offensive set that we're used to seeing from the Swarm. And they can't corral that faceoff there, as McIntosh looked like he had it won.
And you see when they threw that cross crease pass there, how much time took the goaltender to get across. I got to think that's something that they could play in their favor going forward. If the goalie's that slow getting back to the other pipe, they need to get some cross-cage passing going.
Steenhouse with a laser save by Poulin, and the Swarm come up with the rebound. That's exactly what you were indicating there, Brian.
Yep, and we just got to keep them on the perimeter. Don't let those inside cuts come, and Poulin will stop the outside shots for us.
Swarm will set things up offensively. It's Jackson sending it back to Stotts over on the far side. Lyle Thompson loses it, but there's Matisse able to pick up the loose trash, and a shot that is deflected wide, and a fresh 30 for the Swarm as they get the rebound.
We've talked about this before, how valuable it is getting those rebounds in the offensive end. Fresh 30, more time to score, but also a tired defense you're playing against.
And a violation of the Swarm, or a penalty rather, is going to set the Swarm back a hair here.
Those hurt, taking them penalties in the offensive end.
And it's Randy Stotts.
Georgia penalty, 2 minutes, legal cross check.
So while I didn't see it, I would have to guess that was in retaliation to something that Stotts didn't like the check that was laid on him. Turned around and cross-checked his defender back is the most likely way that went down.
So Randy Stotts heads to the box for just the 5th time this year. Swarm trail 5-2. You're watching Georgia Swarm Lacrosse on NLLTV.com. Of their penalties. They'll face a tough challenge as the Buffalo Bandits host the #1 power play in the league, scoring nearly 60% of the time.
Yeah, 60% is just outstanding. And Buffalo has a long history of being strong on the power play, and it's no different this year.
So we see Steenhouse at the top, flips it back to Benesh, sends it behind the net for a shot and a score. That was a fancy goal by Mitch Jones.
Yeah, that was a nice little set play there. They went with double picks up top to draw the attention and quickly swung the ball behind for a little dunk on the diving play by Mitch Jones.
I tell you what, if Mitch Jones wasn't 6'2", I don't think that happens because he needed every inch of that to sneak that ball past Poland.
And what we didn't see in the replay there was how they set it up as a pick pay. Looked like two guys went up like they were setting picks to get shooters free, which pulled two defenders up to two other defenders occupying 4, leaving a 2-on-1 down low, which allowed Mitch Jones to get that dunk.
So the Swarm find themselves in a 4-goal hole.
That's opportunistic there for Georgia. Looks like DeRozio picked the ball up and stepped right back in the crease with it, giving the ball over to Georgia.
And the Swarm will set things up offensively as Thompson is waiting, spinning, moving towards the net, shot, score! Lyle Thompson gets on the board with his 35th tally of the year.
And that could go down as a big one for him. They needed something to raise the energy a little bit here. And this is just a great effort out of Lyle Thompson, basically carrying a defender through as he dives across and slams it home.
And DeRozio, again, slow to move as Thompson went back short side on him.
Yeah, you can see how slow he is to get across there, going from pipe to pipe.
And Troy Cordingley, the head coach of the Buffalo Bandits, throws the challenge flag. The only thing they could be looking at is if he landed in the crease before the ball.
It looked like it was pretty clear he took off.
To me, he was clearly behind the line when he took off. I think you'll see that on the replay as Ian Garrison, the crew chief over there, jogs over to the box where he will look at the video. But that's the only thing I think they could be challenging. And
I think he did not actually challenge. He may have just asked them a question about something.
Yeah, Garrison never goes into the booth to look at it, so it will count.
Would love to know what Troy Cordingley asked him.
Tim Edwards winning nearly 53% of his faceoffs on the season. That was a smart play right there by OC as he got checked to the turf to throw the ball back.
Yep.
It didn't have a lot of aesthetically pleasing qualities, but it certainly was smart to retain the possession.
Possession,
yeah.
Yes. It doesn't always need to be pretty.
Here's Jordan Hall, who's been a huge part of the Swarm's offensive success this year.
Yeah, just brought a level of calm and maturity to the whole thing. Outstanding player. And he kind of has never been the star, but has always been good.
And Hall, with just a second left on the shot clock, buries it in the chest of DeRozio. Swarm can't get the rebound.
Georgia seems to settle down a little bit in terms of getting back on defense as well. The transition defense looked much stronger these last few minutes.
As you see there, Steve Priola lost a stick and a glove that was on the turf. And now Benesh comes on a laser. Sorry, check it. That was Blaze Reardon.
Blaze Reardon, the college goaltender at Albany, was Lyle Thompson's goalie in college. Now playing as a runner in the NLL.
And here in the corner, you have Matisse moving back towards the top, flips it over to Jackson. 9 on the shot clock. Jackson trying to work inside. Back to Matisse. 5 left to shoot. Matisse with a shot and a save from DeRozio.
Good job by Matisse, kind of floating over that again just to get a shot off.
Swarm doing a much better job of picking up the guys coming off the bench for Buffalo.
Yeah, it was a little shaky there the first 5 minutes. Settled down considerably.
You know, we talked in the open about the Swarm defense, and it has been very stout all season long. You know, spearheaded obviously by Mike Poulin, but earlier tonight, I don't know if the Buffalo Bandits threw something at them that they hadn't seen yet or weren't ready for.
Well, one thing that's interesting is when you're on the side of the floor that Buffalo's on now, you generally want to send your lefty out first, right? Because it's his scoring side coming out of the box, attacking the floor. But Buffalo, in one of those possessions, actually had Dane Smith on first over here on the righty side, who you have to double team, which then opened up for other cutters coming in behind him. So it's an interesting idea that I think threw Georgia off on one of those early possessions.
There's Miles Thompson, flips it across to Jackson. Shot and a save from DeRozio, rebound by the Swarm. Hall sent it right back to Jackson. Georgia did a little cutting of their own there, Brian.
Yeah, when Georgia starts cutting, it's a new element to their offense. They're generally not cutters. They tend to run pick and roll and float through spaces.
There's Lyle Thompson, tries to connect with Jordan Hall on the far side, misses, or Shane Jackson rather. But that was a very good possession. The Swarm had a couple of shots and rebounds as we get an interception right there from Miles Thompson.
And that's a key point, right, Mark, that good possessions don't always result in goals. The key is to have lots of good possessions, which generate lots of good looks at the cage, which ultimately create more goals.
And Miles Thompson had to do some spinning to try to work through some defenders for a shot that was deflected, never made it on cage. Ball's loose in the turf. Shot clock still running. Swarm get it back. And a shot to Matisse with his wide. And a long rebound comes out to Hall as there's 5 seconds left on the shot clock. And a nice check there knocks the ball free from Miles Thompson and a shot clock violation on the Swarm.
Just to mention that again, you talked about having quality possessions. The idea is to get quality shots on goal. And you're only going to score on, if you're scoring on 20%, you're doing very well. The idea is to play good offense every time, get lots of good looks at the cage, and ultimately you're going to get more goals.
There's Steenhouse cutting through some defenders. Checked up on by Cole and a save from Poulin. That was a nice check there by Brian Cole at the last second.
Yeah, putting the body on and putting Steenhouse down on the ground.
And shot clock is off, and the Swarm have 4 seconds left. A shot and a save from DeRuzio, and the horn will sound, ending the first 15 minutes of play. Not exactly the start that Ed Como wanted, but they've settled down, Brian, and they find themselves
in an entire season. We lost the ball, lost our minds, we lost countless times in every game. If you could see the ball, that was a slow day. Yesterday, physics didn't apply to us. Gravity wasn't welcome in our box. Armed with just a stick and a ball, we took flight. Yesterday, we were the best we could be. Today is our day.
Back over to Dane Smith with a
Roll
shot.
across
Hit the
teams
goal
are now
post
fielded in
inside.
Philadelphia, Boston, New York,
Afraid you might miss out on the big stories from your favorite team? Well, not to fear, the NLL.
Yesterday, there was friendly competition and not so friendly competition. We knew our true colors weren't just worn on our backs. They were painted on our faces and hoisted as high in the air as we could possibly carry them. Whatever it took to claim our turf. Yesterday, we left it all out there. Blood, sweat, tears. You name it, we left it. We kept ourselves focused and we kept each other in check. And the only thing we took were epic shots. Yesterday, we saw more twists and turns in 8 seconds than most people saw in an entire season. We lost the ball, lost our minds. We lost countless times in every game. If you could see the ball, that was a slow day. Yesterday, physics didn't apply to us. Gravity wasn't welcome in our box. Armed with just a stick and a ball, we took flight. Yesterday, we were the best we could be.
The NLL newsletter is here. All you have to do is subscribe to the new NLL newsletter.
Today is our day.
On everything that is happening around the league. What are you waiting for? Subscribe today.
He's got Digby on the take, scores. Now back over to Dane Smith with a shot. Hit the goal post inside, he scores.
Afraid you might miss out on the big stories from your favorite team? Well, not to fear, the NLL newsletter is here. All you have to do is subscribe to the new NLL newsletter, and you'll get weekly updates from everything that is happening around the league. What are you waiting for? Subscribe today.
Welcome back to Harris Cherokee Casino Field, the Infinite Energy Arena. He's Brian Silcutt. I'm Mark Zinno. The Swarm trail 6-3 to the Bandits. The last time they trailed after the first quarter was the game here back on March 17th against Calgary, a game that they went on to win 17-8. So not all is concerning right now, but still, Swarm not where they wanted. Let's go down to our man, Drew Petkoff.
Thanks, guys. One thing I wanted to talk about real quick, we've got 9 goals so far. The first 7 and kind of the first 8, if you want to call the dunk from behind the net, were all breakaways or partial breakaways where it's just blown assignments for both teams. So both teams really need to clean that up and just try and eliminate all those blown assignments.
Thanks, Drew. So the Swarm will start out defensively here, and you know, Brian, they started to clean things up in the second half of the first quarter, how key is it for them to keep that momentum going here in the second?
Absolutely. The blown assignments is a huge one. We've talked all year about how organized they've looked on defense.
And it's just this. That's a goal Mike Poulin doesn't usually give up.
Yeah,
Ryan Benesh is at the offensive zone line with this slow, low bounce shot, and Poulin just got beat.
Yeah, that's not a blown assignment. That's just a shot that you kind of, I don't want to say you give them, but that you expect your goaltender to. He's kind of falling away from the floor. You get a good check on him there.
And there's not really a lot on it.
Yeah, shot around the defender, which does make it tougher. But that's what we need our goaltender to get. No question about it.
So Benesh with his 3rd goal of the night. And it's back to a 4-goal game. And for those watching who aren't, hardcore lacrosse fans, the Swarm are very much like a basketball team in the sense their transition defense makes their offense effective. And vice versa. When their offense is going well, their defense gets to play better because the scoring opportunities allow them to get set. And that really just hasn't been happening so far through the first 15 minutes plus.
No, I think in part of it has been Buffalo's defense. Buffalo's defense has been disrupting the flow of the offense a bit, and it's thrown the entire game off for the Swarm. It doesn't account for the missed assignments on defense, but it does kind of account for the lack of energy of the team. They are not getting that flow going.
Swarm get a fresh 30 after the save from DeRuzio, and Stotts has to pick the ball up the turf, and there's 15 left to shoot, losing it again.
Yeah, I could count on one hand the number of times I've seen Stotts miss a pass or drop the ball. He just did both in one possession there.
And I will say this much, Buffalo's done a great job at stick checking. You see them stick swatting and knocking the ball loose a lot tonight.
Absolutely, they're coming out and challenging them, forcing Georgia to make passes under pressure.
And we get a wide shot from Saunders, and it's picked up by Dane Smith on the far side. And right there, Mitch Jones gets it and puts a shot on Poulin that he saved. A long outlet pass. That was actually connected. It wasn't a high percentage pass, but Shane Jackson was there, Brian.
I think the defender did not see it coming. Otherwise, you probably could have intercepted it.
There's Miles Thompson looking. Now spinning to his left, coming back, trying to work his way through traffic. Flips it in the middle of the stock shot, and a save from DeRuzio.
I think Georgia's going to need to get a little bit more deliberate pick and roll going here.
That was powerless, I apologize. Nonetheless, that was a great scoring opportunity.
And it came off a little pick and roll. I think a pick and roll is going to help them in this game.
And a caused turnover right there is Ethan O'Connor sends it to McIntosh, who will sit and wait now for his teammates. Now it's Stotts, flips it across to Hall, who sends it to Shane Jackson in the corner. Jackson matched up against Benesh. Hall with a shot was deflected, and it made its way on Cage very softly.
Yeah, the Buffalo defense stepping out very quickly.
Outlet pass from Benesh, and a huge save from Mike Poulin on Dane Smith. I will say this much. To this point in this game, Buffalo has won the physical battle.
Absolutely.
They have physically dominated Georgia.
And I would say been more physical both with the ball in their stick and playing defense.
Agreed.
Offensively, they've been more physical as well. Georgia's kind of getting bullied a little bit right now by the Buffalo defense.
Well, if you want to consider Georgia a finesse team per se, that's usually what you do with finesse teams is Lyle Thompson gets checked right there and the ball gets loose. I mean, they are hitting and locking the ball loose on almost every possession.
Absolutely, and they're doing it in a very controlled manner as well. You know, Buffalo isn't flying around out of control.
And left alone in front of the net is Mark Steenhouse, and he buries it.
Steenhouse has been doing it for a long time in this league. Originally came in as more of a transition player and eventually made his way onto the power play and taking regular shits on offense. Has been a transition player of the year. Just a fantastic lacrosse player, and that's an easy goal for him there.
So the limited amount of Buffalo fans that are here are obviously excited, as it is back to a 5-goal game.
Yeah, right now their team is playing the kind of game that I think they've been looking for all year, and they just haven't been able to consistently come up with. Right now, this is about the best I've seen them play.
Let me ask you, Brian, as a guy who obviously coaches this sport and has been around a long time, the fact that they're getting the ball knocked out of their stick that easy is because they're not doing something? Are they not cradling it enough? Are they unprepared?
Well, I'd say with not cradling, it's not moving the feet at times. That they're stopping their feet, looking to pass the ball, and expecting guys to be open and expecting to be able to move the ball because they usually can. And Buffalo's shutting out those options, shutting down the passing lanes, closing off the adjacents, and making it difficult.
Out to McIntosh and a save from DeRuzio.
So the Georgia player is coming off a pick or something and stopping his feet, expecting to be able to pass it, and there's no one there. Defender closes on him and takes the ball away from him.
I think it's fair to ask the question, and Drew talked to us about it prior to the game. How much of tonight is complacency? They've locked up the #1 seed. They know what their playoff situation is going to be. Obviously, they want the #1 overall seed that they're still playing for. A franchise record, 11 wins on the line tonight. But in a sense, you know, as we see Miles Thompson get a nice scoring opportunity.
Yeah, and that's the kind of ball movement they need, where it's changing planes up and down the floor and moving back and forth right to left. Unfortunately, didn't lead to a score, but we have possessions like that. The ball's going to start going in the net.
14 left to shoot for the Bandits. Dane Smith at the top of the offensive zone. Over to Benesh. Sends it back to Dane Smith. A shot and a save for Poole.
Well, it's a little bit of a dangerous ball there, bouncing around. But what the Swarm did there was a good job of locking off Buffalo players. So even the ball was on the floor there, no one was free to pick it up for Buffalo.
Swarm will get a fresh offensive set here. Let's see if they can create something the way we're used to seeing. As Paulus. And we have a shoe on the turf. As Miles Thompson hits off the crossbar.
Lyle with the quick hands drops it down off the face dodge and gets it back up to shoot so quickly.
So the Swarm still trying to find their offensive groove.
Swarm Bandits, now time for Smile Kid, brought to you by Clinton Dental. Show us those early whites, come on. It's a Smile Kid. You're on the big screen. There you go. Clinton Dental, the official dentist of the Georgia Swarm. Clinton Dental, serving Swanee for almost 20 years. Online.
Welcome back to Harris Cherokee Casino Field, the Infinite Energy Arena. We get a look at the Swarm bench, and despite things not going well tonight, be proud of those guys, Swarm fans. First time in franchise history that they win the East Division title. They'll host a playoff game here on May 20th. For all their efforts this year, it has been an incredible run for them so far.
Absolutely, and a lot of fun to watch and call. They're just a fun team. I have a feeling we're going to see a lot more out of them tonight still.
Plenty of time left for the Swarm to get back in this as Matisse sends it over to Paulus, who flips it behind his head.
Nice offensive set, just ended in a drop pass.
The Bandits come into tonight after a win last night over Toronto.
And that win was
6-9 on the year.
And that win locked up the home field advantage
right.
for Georgia. Toronto taking that loss last night. Thank you, Buffalo.
Well, Buffalo did the Swarm a favor last night. Not doing them any favors so far tonight. Is a shot and a score! Shane Jackson from about 25 feet, a low hard one.
Yeah, Shane Jackson had a great game the last time we were here. Played just an outstanding game here. Sees the opportunities. Defenders slow to recover on him. Has a vision of that near pipe and just bangs it home.
So the Swarm trying to climb back in this, making an 8-4 game. And Jackson gets his 31st goal of the year. 63 points for him.
Nice job on the draw by Jordan McIntosh, our captain.
And the Swarm have done a good job this year in certain games of getting those goals to come in bunches. They come in runs. Let's see if they can build on that last goal.
Absolutely, that is their thing. They get that groove going, and the ball just seems to start dropping for them.
There's Jackson again, should score!
And in this particular instance, it seems like Shane Jackson's just kind of decided, listen, guys, we got to step it up on the offensive end. I'm going to get you going, and then I'll let you guys take the reins. A beautiful job there of setting the feet. The defender backs off for a moment, dives again to the short side. Actually, that may have been 5-hole.
It was 5 holes. He beats DeRuzio right through the legs. And Jackson now at his second goal in about 35 seconds.
And right away, it's a 3-goal game. And that's the beauty of lacrosse. The goals can come in bunches so quickly.
And McIntosh fighting for the face-off. Ball is loose. There's a scrum right now for it, and it goes back to the Swarm. And let's see if the run continues. Here comes Brian Cole, already with the goal tonight. And Sellers sends it back to McIntosh. I'd give it to Shane Jackson again. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Here comes Powless. Tries to hit it connecting. Stotts misses. Stotts gets a rebound off the boards. 8 left to shoot. Stotts with a shot and a save from DeRuzio.
Stotts using a similar little hesitation to get underneath there. Used his big body, but DeRuzio was up to the task.
Here comes Mitch DeSnew. How many guys in this league kind of have a signature move? I mean, do the lacrosse players develop that?
There's a lot of guys that do. I mean, in the end, you're not going to survive with just one move, but there's definitely things that guys are known for doing, will use over and over again, both in terms of how they beat the defender, but also how they finish in the end when they're in tight.
Blaze Reardon got beat up on that possession, held onto the ball and still put a shot on cage.
And I think we're going to the box.
And it looks like we're going to get matching penalties here as Jason Noble finds himself in the penalty box, a familiar place. He leads the Swarm in penalties.
Number 12, Buffalo. Number 45, Georgia. Both have 2-minute minors. Unnecessary roughness.
So DeSnew, who is third on the Bandits in penalty minutes, Noble first on the Swarm, so those guys are used to being in there.
And we'll play 5-on-5, right? Simultaneous penalties. Each team still puts out 5 guys while they serve their time in the box for misbehaving.
And here is Hall over to Kyle Matisse, has to gather himself. And Hall got checked to the turf. Yep. We're going to get delayed penalty call. Hall got his helmet knocked off.
6-on-5 for the last 10
and
seconds.
Hall is just going to jog himself to the bench, as also does Mike Poulin, and the Swarm will try to take advantage here. Here is Stotts, flips it over to Powell. Shot, score!
Well executed in the 6-on-5.
Solid passing, Brian.
Yeah, super patient as the clock was ticking down. Waited for Stotts to get into that top center position, and as soon as the ball went to him, he knew where he was going, down low left with it.
And it looks like we're going to get an additional penalty.
Number 20, 5-minute major, high stick.
Wow, 5-minute major.
And I guess the penalty there is because it's a major, still applies.
Yes, absolutely.
The delayed penalty, which was the reason why the Swarm scored, usually with a delayed penalty, it's waved off if a goal is scored.
But it's a major.
But since it was a 5-minute major, as you see Powell is beating DeRuzio on the far side. But because it's a 5-minute major, it's still being served. And now the Swarm are up on the power play.
So now they're only down 2 and have a power play.
This is a huge momentum swing. The Swarm can tie this game up here.
No, I believe they're only allowed to get 1 more goal, though, now, since they already got
because the first, correct.
They already got the 1.
Just for clarification, on 5-minute majors, you can score twice before a guy comes out of the box, but with the 1 coming on the delayed penalty. Here is Stotts over to Jackson, a shot and a save from DeRuzio. So a couple things going on here. We still have the simultaneous minors for unnecessary roughness to DeSnew and Noble. and a 5-minute major on the Bandits for the high stick that knocked Jordan Hall to the turf. So Steenhouse running around trying to kill some of this penalty here as there's 7 left to shoot. And it looks like he'll be content to dump it in the corner here in a moment, or just throw it near the cage. No, and he just dumps it in the corner.
7 or 8 years ago, there's no way Mark Steenhouse would have ended that play without attempting to go to the goal.
Age does different things to different
yes,
people.
It does. I'm smarter.
Coming up on 5 minutes left. And there's Powless over the Lyle, back to Johnny. Stotts gets it, dives towards the net, shot, the deflection wide. No, they're saying it did not deflect. 4 left to shoot. Miles Thompson gets it right in front. No, he doesn't. He loses it.
I like that little pick play there where Lyle Thompson cuts into the middle and flips around to the opposite side for that pick.
So we're going to get a timeout. Swarm will come back still on the power play, trailing by 2. We've got a game, folks. You're watching Georgia Swarm Lacrosse on NLLTV.com.
Turn it over to you.
He's got Digby on the take,
hero of the week.
Back over to Dane
a player
Smith
who may not have chipped in on the score sheet, but contributed to his team's successes in some of the ways.
Afraid you might miss out on the big stories from your favorite team?
We heard from him a little bit earlier on in the show, but my unsung
newsletter
hero for
is
this week
here.
happens to be
All you have to do is subscribe to the
It
new
was a
NLL
must-win
newsletter.
situation
You'll get
for the
weekly
Calgary
updates
Roughnecks, and
from
he stepped
everything
up
that is
big
happening
between the
around
pipes
the
for
league.
this team, taking
What
a
are you
look
waiting for?
at the
Subscribe
numbers.
today.
54 shots on goal. He had 46 saves in
Tyson,
this game.
I don't know
As
about you, but
mentioned
even
earlier,
though 2017
one of
isn't
his
over,
best
I'm
performances
already
so far
excited
this season
for the
under a
2018
pressure
NLL
situation. He
And I think
really
that's
helped out
because
his
the
team on the back end.
2017 season
He was
has
even
been
named the
so
first star in the
exciting.
game.
So many games
that is
that
why
have been
Frank
decided by
Chiliano is
just
my
one
unsung
single
hero
goal.
for
Lots of
this
games going
week.
to overtime. Some highlight reel plays
to you
on any given night. Unsung hero of the week.
It has been action-packed for sure, and fans, if you're like me and already counting down the days until 2018 NLL season,
we heard from him a little bit
earlier on in the show, but my unsung hero for this week happens to be Frank Chiliano. It was a must-win situation, and if you do it now, the Calgary Roughnecks, you're going to get a discount on your big between the pipes for the team. Taking a look at the numbers, 54 shots on goal, he had 46 saves in this game. You can win a meet and greet with your favorite player or the commissioner himself. There are so many this season incredible under a pressure situation. He really helped out his team on the back end. He was even named the first star in the game. So
Tyson, I don't know about you, but even though 2017 isn't over, I'm
Turn it over
National
to you
Lacrosse
for
League.
this week's
The Bandits 8, the
hero
Swarm 6,
of the
450
week.
left.
A player
As the
who
Swarm
may not
have
have
gone on a
chipped in
little
on
bit
the
of a run here.
score
They were
sheet,
trailing
but
8 to 3.
contributed to his team's successes in some of the
now on
ways.
the
So,
power play.
what we got?
As the
we heard
simultaneous
from him
minors
a
have
little
been
bit
killed
earlier
off.
on in the show, but my
And we
unsung
see
hero
Nick
for
Weiss
this
in
week
the
happens
box
to be
for a
Frank
high stick.
Chiliano. It was a
knocked Jordan
must-win
Hall to the
situation
turf. It was a
for the
5-minute
Calgary
major.
Roughnecks, and he stepped up big between the pipes for the team. Taking a look at the numbers,
Swarm power
54
play.
shots on goal. He had
Fourth in the
46
league
saves
this year.
in this game. As you mentioned earlier, this was probably one of his best
Bandits' penalty
performances
kill
so far
coming in
this season,
fifth,
and
killing
under a
off 48%
pressure
of their
situation, he
penalties.
really helped out his team on the back end. He was even named
a
the
low
first
shot
star
and a
in the
save
game.
for
So
Bullen.
that is why Frank Chiliano is my
job collecting
unsung
that loose
hero.
ball.
And here comes
this
OC
week.
up the
Amia,
short side of the field.
to you for this week's unsung hero of the week. A player who may not have chipped in on
Jordan
the
Hall
score
will wait
sheet,
for his
but
teammates to get in
contributed to
position.
his team's successes in some other ways. So, what we got?
Well, we heard from him a
doesn't do
little
this
bit
a lot
earlier
because the
on in the
left-handed
show, but
strong,
my unsung hero for
power
this
play.
week happens to
Jordan
be
usually
Frank
goes with the right-handed strong
Chiliano.
power
It
play.
was a must-win
Powell slips it behind his
situation
head. A shot
for the
from
Calgary
Jackson
Roughnecks,
just
and he
misses.
stepped up big between the pipes for this
And
team,
a
taking a look
check from
at the
cross-check from
numbers.
Bennett there.
54 shots
Jackson
on goal.
had
He
the opening, I think, to
46
get that in and just missed
in
it on the
this
short
game.
side.
As you mentioned earlier,
That
this
was
is
some
probably
great
one of
passing
his
from the
best
Swarm.
performances so far this season.
There's
And
Hall
under
back to
a pressure
Thompson. Shot,
situation,
score!
he really helped out his team on the back end. He was even named the first star in the game. So that is why Frank Chiliano is my unsung hero for this week.
Thompson's second in the game, and no doubter just beat Deruzio on the left side.
And I gotta believe Deruzio's thinking a little bit about that cross floor pass again, and gets caught kind of heavy-footed, and really doesn't move that shot well at all. He's kind of stuck an arm out, and no body movement whatsoever to get to that ball.
36th on the year for Thompson, and we have gotten a one-goal game, folks. Still 3:48 left, and Weiss still on the penalty box.
54 shots on goal. He had 46 saves in this game. As you mentioned earlier,
won't be the last
this is
one I make.
probably one of his best performances so far this season, and under a pressure situation, he really helped out his team on the back end. He was even named the
Swarm have
first
only
star
trailed
in the
at
game, so
halftime
That is why Frank
No, they
Chiliano
are
is my
they are 5 on
unsung
5.
hero.
He still has to serve the rest of the penalty.
correct.
But they are
There
back
we
to
go.
5
We are
on
5 on
5.
5.
Yeah, they are back to 5 on 5.
You are right. Don't ever doubt
Hero
yourself.
of the week.
But the Swarm have trailed at halftime just 4 times this year. They are 1-3 in those games.
In some of the ways. So, what you got?
Well, we heard from him a little bit
possession
earlier
back.
on in the show, but my unsung hero for this week happens to be Frank Chiliano. It was a must-win situation for the Calgary Roughnecks, and he stepped up big between the pipes for this team, taking a look at the numbers. 54
This is
shots
still
on
a
goal.
pretty
He
young
had
Georgia Swarm
46
team
saves
that really,
in this game.
think about
As
the
you
composure
mentioned
that
earlier,
really, they
this
were
is
struggling
probably
early
one
in
of
this
his
game.
best performances
And have
so
just
far
stuck with
this
it,
season.
battled
Under
back,
a
and
pressure
have gotten things
situation,
going for them.
really helped out
Batista's
his team
shot
on the
is
back
wide.
end. He was even
Lyle
named the first
Thompson gets
star
the
in the
rebound.
game. So
Looking,
that
waiting
is
for
why
the
Frank
wind-up shot
Chiliano
and a
is my
save.
unsung
And Randy
hero
Stotts almost
for
grabbed that
this week.
rebound.
Amia, turn it over to you for this week's unsung hero of the week.
Steve Priolo carrying the ball up here for Buffalo is having a heck of a year. He's been a great defender for a long time in this league, but really starting to put up some points.
Well, we heard from him a little bit
this year.
earlier on in the show, but my
21
unsung
points on the
hero for
season
this
for
week
Priolo.
happens to be Frank Chiliano. It was a must-win
Mitch
situation
Jones
for the Calgary Roughnecks,
doing
and
some
he
nifty
stepped up
work
big
right there.
between the
Just
pipes
pulling
for
the
the team,
save,
taking a
knocking
look
into
at the numbers.
netting.
54
So
shots
it'll be
on
a
goal.
fresh
He had
30 seconds for
46
the
saves
Buffalo Bandits.
in this game. As you mentioned earlier, this was probably one of his best performances so far this season, and
Here's
under
Jones
a
again,
pressure
flips it to
situation,
Ganesh.
he really helped out his team on the back end. He was even
Thankfully,
named the
was
first star
a
in the
little
game.
over-aggressive
So
on the
that
pick
is why
there.
Frank Chiliano is my unsung hero
And
for this week.
Paulus gets it knocked out of his stick right in front of the net.
Yeah, great catch initially by Powell, but the defender was all over
player
it
who may
and
not have chipped
couldn't
in on the
control it to
score
get a
sheet,
shot
but
off.
contributed to his team's successes in some of the ways. So, what you got?
Well, we heard from him a little bit earlier on in the show, but my unsung hero for this week happens to be
they flip
Frank
back and a shot.
Chiliano.
Huge
It was
save
a
by
must-win
Poole.
situation for the Calgary Roughnecks.
That
and
was
he
a
stepped
stone-cold
up big
one-on-one.
between
Yeah,
the
that
pipes
was
for
a
the team,
really
taking a
smooth
look
pick and roll,
at the
hard
numbers.
pick.
54
Not called
shots on
illegal,
goal.
though. The
He had
man was wide
46
open going to the
saves
cage.
in this game.
So he was
As you
wide
mentioned
open.
earlier, this is
And
probably
really is
one
even
of his
able to
best
come. I think he was
performances
trying to
so
put that
far
far
this
side
season,
and didn't
under
quite
a
make it.
pressure
It was Dane
situation.
Smith
He
of all
really
people.
helped out his team on the back end.
Poole
He was
comes up
even
with a
named
big
the
save.
first
Let's
star
see if
in
the
the
Swarm
game.
can turn
So
it into something.
that is why Frank
On the
Chiliano
offensive
is my
end, Shane Jackson
unsung
shot
hero.
wide. Rebound by Miles Thompson.
Amia,
Flips it behind his head
turn it over
to,
you.
was it 10 for Jordan Hall and missed the
Hero
mark.
of the week.
Yeah, that would have been a
Player
ridiculous
who
pass
may
if
not
that
have
one
chipped
linked
in on
up.
the score sheet, but contributed to his team's
here is
successes
Banesh,
in
sends it to
some of the
middle
ways.
of
So,
Jones.
what we got?
Well, we heard from him a little bit earlier on
And
in the
what a
show, but
goal
my
right
unsung
there
hero
by the
for this
Bandits.
week happens to be Frank Chiliano.
Was
It
that
was a
Malcolm who was
must-win
knocked down to the turf,
situation
falling down and
for the
put him in the
Calgary
back of the
Roughnecks, and
cage?
he stepped
Yeah, I
up
think
big
that was
between the pipes
that
for the
Jordan
team,
McIntosh
taking a
playing
look
defense. He
at the
started
numbers.
to
54
go for
shots
the
on
steal
goal.
and
He
kind
had
of got caught
46
out of
saves
position.
in this
and was
game.
never able to
As
get
you
his
mentioned
feet
earlier,
back
this is
underneath
probably
himself
one of his
to
best
stop the
performances
forward
so far
progress
this
from Malcolm.
season, and under a
Because he
pressure
initially reached, thought he
situation,
was
he
going to
really
get that
helped out his
pass,
team on the back
was
end.
off balance
He
the
was
whole
even
way to
named
the
the first
cage.
star in the game, so that is
So
why Frank
Buffalo makes it
Chiliano
back to
is
a
my
two-goal
unsung
game.
hero for this week.
Amia, turn it over to you for this week's unsung hero of the week. A player who may not have chipped in on the
face off.
score sheet, but contributed to his team's
Being
successes
fought
in
for
some of the ways.
and
So,
picked up by the
what you got?
Swarm.
Well,
Tell you
we
what, these
heard from him a
face-offs
little
have
bit
not
earlier
been
on
won
in the
cleanly
show,
by
but my
anybody.
unsung
No,
hero
it's
for
been-
this
it's
week
been a
happens
battle.
to be Frank Chiliano.
I mean,
It was
it
a
seems like both
must-win
Edwards
situation
and McIntosh
for
are
the
trying to
Calgary
push the ball
Roughnecks,
to a
and he
teammate as
stepped
opposed to
up
win the
big
face-off
between the
individually.
pipes
Yeah,
for
that's
the
what
team,
McIntosh
taking
has
a
been
look
doing this whole
at the
game. And
numbers.
the problem's been
54
sometimes
shots
he
on
hasn't
goal.
made
He
it
had
back out. He's won
46
the clamp and hasn't been able
in
to
this
get the
game.
ball
As
back
you
out into a
mentioned
clear
earlier,
space.
this is probably one of his
Here is
best
Weir.
performances so far this season, and under a pressure situation,
And
he really helped out his team on
beats
the back
Poole
end.
down low.
He was even named the first star in the game, so that is why
Blaze
Frank
Weir,
Chiliano
with the
is my
assist there, was a
unsung hero
goaltender
for
in
this
college.
week.
Keep
Amia,
that in mind. This guy
turn
played
it over
goalie for the
to
University
you
of
for
Albany.
this week's
Was Miles
unsung
Thompson and Mitch
hero of
Thompson's
the
goalie.
week.
He is an
A player
excellent
who may not
offensive
have
player
chipped in on
in
the
box
score
lacrosse.
sheet, but contributed to his team's
I mean,
successes
is that
in some of the
just a
ways. So,
defensive lapse that you
what
let
you
him get
got?
behind you like
Well,
that?
we heard heard from him a little bit earlier on in the show,
I mean,
but my unsung hero for
it's partially communication, but it's also body position. You have to be in the right spot before you're needed. So you're always protected for that role. When the Canadians sets a pick, they're trying to get the ball carrier free, but they're trying just as much to get themselves free on the roll.
In this game, as you mentioned earlier, this is probably one of his best performances so far this season under a pressure situation. He really helped out his team on the back end. He was even named the first star in the game, so that is why Frank Giuliano is my unstrung hero.
The Bandits back on offense, 13 left to shoot. There's Jones once again.
For this week's unstrung hero of the week. A player who may not have chipped in on the score sheet, but
Dane Smith being checked up on, fighting his way
some
through the middle. The ball's loose. Great defense by the Swarm.
We heard from him a little bit
rush from the
earlier
Swarm.
on in the show, but my unsung hero
Brian Cole
for
has
this
to
week
slow
happens to
things
be
up.
Frank
Nice job getting that
Giuliano.
ball.
It was a must-win situation for the Calgary Roughnecks.
And now we're going to get some extracurricular activity between Jason Noble right in front of the Buffalo bench. His punches are thrown.
The numbers, 54 shots on goal. He had 46 saves in this game. As you mentioned earlier, this was probably one of his best performances so far this season, and under a pressure situation, he really helped out his team on the back end. He was even named the first star in the game, so that is why Frank Chiliano is my unstrung hero.
Noble was right in front of the
Mia.
Bandits bench in a scrum.
Unsprung hero of the week.
And here you see, right here, look,
players who may not have chipped in on the score sheet, but contributed to his team's successes in some other ways. So, who you got?
Well, we heard from him a little bit earlier on in the show, but my unstrung hero for this week happens to be Frank Chiliano. It was a must-win situation for the Calgary Roughnecks, and he stepped up big between the pipes for this team, taking a look at the numbers. 54 shots on goal. He had 46 saves in this game. As you mentioned earlier, this was probably one of his best performances so far this season, and under a pressure situation, he really helped out his team on the back end. He was even named the first star in the game, so that is why Frank Chiliano is my unstrung hero.
After 2 minutes are up, the Bandits will go to a power play.
Turn it over to you.
We'll play 5 on, correct me if I'm here, we'll play 5 on 5 because these are all simultaneous until
2 minutes.
When the 2 minutes from Steinhaus and Dane Smith are up.
So, who you got?
We will go.
Yes. Well, we heard from him a little bit earlier on in the show, but my unstrung hero for this week happens to be Frank
short-handed.
Yes, because it was a must-win situation for the Calgary Roughnecks, and he stepped up big between the pipes for this team, taking a look at the numbers. 54 shots on goal. He had 46 saves in this.
Part and parceled, if you will. Let's take a quick look at the league standings while we have a moment. As you see the Swarm, 10-4 clinched their division and the #1 seed in the East. Saskatchewan has done the same out west. And you see Buffalo at 6-9 with an outside shot still at the playoffs with 3 games left after tonight. So Buffalo has a lot to play for.
Buffalo has an outside shot. New England in a little bit stronger position. Remember, 3 teams from each side are gonna get in. So in New England with a little bit of a lead on Buffalo. The interesting thing on the other side is one team is going to be out, and that one's tight as well out in the West.
So you see Ian Garrison talking with Ed Como.
Yeah, I think the way the penalties work is because Noble engaged with 2 different people, each of those guys got a roughing penalty, so they had to give Noble a roughing penalty for each one of those engagements, I'm sure is how the officials saw it.
Either way, it leaves the Swarm at a disadvantage as we come back after these 13.9 seconds.
It leaves, it actually will leave, the Swarm will have an advantage for 2 minutes and then be down for 2 minutes, actually, right? Because there's 2 guys in for Buffalo. So Swarm will be up for...
Since they're all simultaneous right now, we're going to get 5-on-5 lacrosse until these first 2 minutes are up.
Exactly, yes, you are correct.
So when Steinhaus and Dane Smith, after 2 minutes are released, 2 more minutes have to be served by Jason Noble. But the Swarm have 13.9, now 12.4 to try to score a goal here.
And right now they're playing without a goaltender.
So they're going to hold for a last-second shot and go 6-on-5. Aggressive move here by Ed Como. And now Garrison running over to the... Thought he was headed over to the Buffalo bench. He's not. He's just giving Lyle Thompson a start point when he blows the whistle. But they did take off like about 1.5 seconds of the game clock. It was 13.9. I think they're asking them to reset that. That's what we're waiting on. It was 13.9 at the last play stoppage.
12.4, yeah.
As we wait for the start of play. Well, as I mentioned, the Swarm have only trailed at halftime 4 times this year. They are 1-3 in those contests. The only win came at Toronto back on February 17th, an overtime win, 13-12. They trailed 4-6 after the first 30 minutes.
So this potentially sets up a great...
Now they fixed the clock to 13.9, started play, and the clock didn't start. So Ian Garrison has to explain the situation.
Ian Garrison's earning his keep tonight.
The last time the Swarm trailed at halftime was back in New England on March 12th. They were down 8-5 in a game that they lost 13-8. And here is Miles Thompson. Shot, score! With 1 second left in the half, Miles Thompson buries it.
On a well-executed play there. Just a mob of bodies on the inside with Miles Thompson looping out free to the outside.
I don't know if Randy Stotts intended to take and clear out space, but when he fell and did, it gave a great lane to Miles Thompson.
Just got clobbered by 3 guys, leaving Miles
that won't
Thompson
count as an
wide
assist in the stat sheet, but it should. That is a huge goal for the Swarm.
And now something's going on in conversation with Mark Stainhouse.
And Stainhouse thinks he's released from the box. He's not. That's what he's not getting, is that these are simultaneous penalties because it's even 5-on-5 lacrosse. Now, he may have saw odd man because it was 6-on-5, but the Swarm had pulled the goalie. So Stainhouse thinks he's released, and he's not. And they still haven't adjusted the scoreboard. It is a 10-8 game. So after all this, a confusing last couple of moments here in the first half, but it ends with the Swarm trailing by 2. You are watching Georgia Swarm Lacrosse. We'll be back with the
Pro lacrosse teams are now fielded in Philadelphia, Boston, New York, Maryland, Montreal, and Quebec.
Yesterday, there was friendly competition and not so friendly competition. We knew our true colors weren't just worn on our backs, they were painted on our faces and hoisted as high in the air as we could possibly carry them. Whatever it took to claim our turf. Yesterday, we left it all out there. Blood, sweat, tears. You name it, we left it. We kept ourselves focused and we kept each other in check. And the only thing we took were epic shots. Yesterday, we saw more twists and turns in 8 seconds than most people saw in an entire season. We lost the ball, lost our minds. We lost count countless times in every game. If you could see the ball, that was a slow day. Yesterday, physics didn't apply to us. Gravity wasn't welcome in our box. Armed with just a stick and a ball, we took flight. Yesterday, we were the best we could be. Today is our day.
Welcome, lacrosse fans. Tyson Geik of NLL Productions here with you right now, and I'm joined by Shay Hewen, CEO and founder of the U-Hawk camera. We have some exciting news for you today. The NLL has officially partnered with the U-Hawk camera, the new official action camera of the National Lacrosse League. Shay, an exciting moment, for both parties here.
Yeah, it's an incredible day. It's a big step and a big moment in the history of sports, and for the National Lacrosse League to be the first league to step up and bring actual player point of view, video footage to fans at home in the actual real raw competition in the season. It's a monumental day, and we're very excited to be the official camera provider to be a part of that.
Time now for my box bosses, and with 3 games going on this weekend, it was pretty easy to pick my top 3. One player from each team, of course, and I'm going to start with last week's unstrung hero, Mark Matthews from the Saskatchewan Rush. Matthews got creative in this game, was a ton of fun to watch. One of his shots just caught Richards by surprise. Chokes up on the stick, getting the shot off quickly. It was one of his 3 goals on the night, and he'd add 4 assists for 7 points against the Stealth. And I move on to number 2 from the Calgary Roughnecks, Curtis Dixon. When Dixon's going, the Roughnecks are usually going. 4 goals, 6 assists for 10 points in week 15, 1 shorthanded, 1 on the power play. This guy's deadly and in the hunt for the scoring title. He's helped the Roughnecks to 3 straight wins. And at number 1, couldn't make any mistake with this one, Randy Stotts from the Georgia Swarm. 5 goals, 6 assists, 11 loose balls. He opened the scoring in every single quarter of the game, twice even strength, once on the power play, once shorthanded, 2 goals in the first 2 minutes of the game. So he was a huge part of that Georgia Swarm start. Despite an East Division semifinal exit, the 2016 season saw the Georgia Swarm finishing amongst the league's worst in terms of goals against average and goaltender save percentages. On the first day of free agency, owner and general manager John Arlotta looked to address his team's needs as he signed veteran netminder Mike Poulin to a 3-year contract. This fresh start turned out to be just what both sides were looking for.
You know, Calgary was very good to me. It was a lot of fun, and even before that, I've had some great experiences in this league. But I was looking for, you know, a new opportunity to be with a different organization and just try something different.
One of the things we talk about with the Swarm is that, you know, we want character people, and Mike's, you know, first and foremost, he's a character person, and that was important to us. And, you know, we were looking for a guy that we could come in and be a leader, and I think Mike's had a great year last year, and, you know, really helped Calgary rebound from a tough start. And, you know, we're hoping he can come in and, you know, play great for us, provide us that veteran leadership, and a guy that we know we can build with for the future.
The Swarm suffered a heartbreaking overtime loss to the New England Black Wolves in the East Division semifinal last season. Given the fact that the NLL is such a competitive league from top to bottom, Poulin believes that if you start small, the rest will follow.
Every game, you know, every team was tight last year. I mean, the teams that missed the playoffs only missed by a game or so. And so when I looked at it, it was like 14-13 overtime game. And even, you know, in the West, that first round playoff was an overtime game. So it's just really making marginal differences. I don't expect to come in here and hold teams to 8 goals against per game. I just want to come in here and make that one extra save that helps us, you know, win those 1-goal games. So I'm certainly not putting the pressure on myself to turn anything around here and get 15 wins, but just making marginal differences that add up at the end of the year so that we can win that overtime game.
In their very first game of the season, the Swarm looked to be losing grasp against the defending Champions Cup winning Saskatchewan Rush. The team gave up 4 unanswered goals, and starting goaltender Brodie McDonald had allowed 7 goals on just 21 shots. It was at that point that the Swarm would give Mike Poulin the nod, and from then on, it was all Georgia.
Save by Carlson, and a rebound shot, score! So it might just be 1 minute left. 9 in the shot clock, and a score! Stotts gives the give and go, and the Swarm take the lead. A low shot that sneaks by, he scores! There's Lyle Thompson. Chases it down, Cole shoots and scores!
It turned out Poulin's calming presence in goal was exactly what the Swarm needed.
With this group of guys here in Georgia, absolutely awesome group of guys. I've enjoyed every minute being here and getting to know them. But I'm hoping that, you know, when we get into those adverse situations where teams go on runs or, you know, things just aren't going our way, that I can speak from experiences that I've gone through that can, you know, help us get to the next level. Because there's only 18 games in a tight season like this. Anything can happen. And I've been on teams that started, you know, 6-0 or 0-6, and it doesn't take much to either turn it around either way. So hopefully, from the experiences that I've been through, and a lot of these young guys have gone to colleges and won championships and won Mintos and man. So it's not like they don't know. It's just sometimes you need a new voice in there as well.
The sport of box lacrosse is fairly new to Georgia, and Poulin believes that it's up to he and the rest of the Swarm to help the game flourish in the southern state.
We have to win. We have to win. I think, you know, fans love winning teams, and that's, you know, that's fair for both sides. You want to go and you want to see a good product. You want to see, you know, your team compete, your city win. So as players, we need to understand that our performance goes a lot further than just having fun out there on weekends. It goes a long way towards making our ownership group successful and making the sport of lacrosse grow, especially in markets like Georgia where there's great potential. I think when you look at what Saskatoon did last year, their performance on the floor is what helped get that city behind them. And they've done a fantastic job as an organization, bringing those fans back and engaging them and really doing all the right things, but it all starts with winning on the floor.
Subscribe to NLL TV today and find out if Mike Poulin and the Georgia Swarm can continue their undefeated ways. For NLL Productions,
Bandit Land, get into the action this season as the Buffalo Bandits set out to defend their East Division title. Get your tickets now, starting at just $21. Or purchase your McDonald's Family 4-pack for just $69. Tickets are available now at the KeyBank Center box office, online at bandits.com, or by phone at 1-888-467-2273. See you in Bandit Land.
In part by Sports Interaction, Canada's home for worldwide sports betting. Bet responsibly at sportsinteraction.com. Disclaimer, only residents of Canada may open an account with Sports Interaction. The service is not available to users outside of Canada.
Excited tonight for the 2018 NLL season.
and I think that's because the 2017 season has been so exciting. There's been so many games that have been decided by just one single goal. Lots of games going to overtime, some highlight reel plays on any given night. Games you just don't want to miss.
It has been action-packed for sure, and fans, if you're like me and already counting down the days until 2018 NLL season, well, we have some news for you. You can renew and subscribe to NLLTV.com today for the 2018 season, and if you do it now, you're going to get a discount on your subscription.
Also, a chance to win a pair of tickets to the 2017 Champions Cup Final. Lots on the line.
Also, you can win a meet and greet with your favorite player or the commissioner himself. There are so many incredible prizes if you renew today, so don't miss out on this opportunity.
Come on now. Want a little heat? Yeah. Here we go. On three. Boom. Drop it. Up.
Hello everyone and welcome to this week's episode of the NLL Social Circle, where we take a look at some of the big stories happening around the league on social media this week. And it all starts off with a surprise from the NLL. If you're one of our subscribers to our newsletter, you probably already know what it is. If not, well, what are you waiting for? Later this weekend, we will have the big announcement for you. You are going to want to make sure you subscribe before next week's action gets underway. Well, the NLL production studio got a visit from the Easter Bunny this week, or should I say Toronto Rock goaltender Nick Rose, and we decided to put him to the ultimate challenge in the first ever Easter accuracy test. Let's take a look at the video. To check out the full video, make sure to head on over to NLLTV.com. Well, the Rochester Nighthawks were out in the community this week handing out equipment and giving practice to some East High schools to bring varsity lacrosse to the schools. Well, I know I'm sure hungry, and I hope you brought your appetite out to the Georgia Swarm game this week, because the first 1,000 fans get a free hot dog, and you can also get a free popcorn at the game. That sounds like a delicious meal to me. If you want to go and check out the game between the Vancouver Stealth and the Calgary Roughnecks this week, well, minor lacrosse players wearing their jersey actually get in free, so make sure you got your gear on. That's all that is happening this week on the NLL Social Circle. Fans, if you want a chance to be featured here, make sure you're tagging the NLL in all of your social media posts. For NLL Productions, I'm Mia Gordon.
He's got Digby on the take, scores!
Now back over to Dane Smith with a shot. Hit the goal post inside, he scores!
Afraid you might miss out on the big stories from your favorite team? Well, not to fear, the NLL newsletter is here. All you have to do is subscribe to the new NLL newsletter, and you'll get weekly updates from everything that is happening around the league. What are you waiting for? Subscribe today.
He's got Digby.
Welcome back to Harris Cherokee Casino Field, the Infinite Energy Arena. We are at halftime. The Swarm trail the Buffalo Bandits 10-8. You know, Brian, they got themselves in a hole early due to some good Buffalo offense.
Yeah, good Buffalo offense and some missed assignments by our defense. Missed assignments, sloppy passing on offense leads to a deficit.
Swarm found themselves in a 5-goal deficit but managed to crawl their way out of it, starting with Johnny Powers.
Yeah, Johnny Powers' goal was a beauty. I think we learned there that we need to move the goalie back and forth a little bit, force him to cover both sides of the cage. But in the end, you know, they kept their composure, they kept playing, they kept working out, they kept hammering back, and that late goal by Miles Thompson we just saw right there brought it to a 2-goal game at halftime.
And as you can see, the Swarm usually not trailing in a lot of these categories, particularly shots on goal nor face-offs won. They are tonight so far, but still 30 minutes left to correct it.
Yeah, I think face-off one is actually, I think, opposite. I think we've won 11 of 19. I think that one is actually, yeah, I think that one's the other way around. Pretty sure McIntosh has won 11 face-offs thus far. But the statistics in the end are pretty even, right? Even including the face-offs, it's pretty even. Things need to swing the other way, and it's going to start, I think, with consistent, patient, moving the ball offense, finding those great looks.
Well, you take a look at the goaltenders. There's David DeRuzio, who has stopped 18 shots so far, and we'll recap the penalty situation. As you see, Dane Smith and Mark Steenhouse in the box for the Bandits. They are serving simultaneous minors for 2 minutes, along with Jason Noble of the Swarm, who is serving a double minor of 4 minutes. So with basically 147 left in the first 2 minutes of the penalty, as we look at Ed Como kind of just getting some final thoughts here from Ian Garrison. After the 147 is gone, Mark Steenhouse will leave the penalty box, as will Dane Smith. And Jason Noble will remain in the penalty box for the Swarm for 2 more minutes as he's serving a double minor. So we have 5-on-5 lacrosse to start here. And we are ready with the second half. And the face-off flipped up and won by Buffalo.
Nice clean win there by Buffalo.
And Priolo sends it across to a cutter, and that's what the Swarm had trouble with the start of the game, and it happened again.
Very similar there, right? That was eerily similar to earlier in the game with a wide open man in transition.
And here comes Anthony Malcolm, who's got a pair of goal, or a single goal rather, tonight so far. And Swarm can't corral an easy rebound right there. And luckily, shot clock violation gives him the ball back.
It's rare. The Swarm usually, throughout the year, have been very good at picking up loose balls in both the offensive and the defensive end. It's been a little bit sloppy on both ends tonight.
And a shot from Stotts goes off the boards in the back of the cage. And here's Kevin Brunell, rather. And the Bandits trying to work things up on offense. Benesh, who's already got 4 goals so far tonight, matched up against Sellers. Reardon can't get it, but Benesh sends it back. Mitch Jones across to Brownell. Oh, Brownell with a nice move past Brian Cole, and the shot was wide, thankfully for the Swarm.
Nice move, but a decent job by Cole getting his hands on him, forcing him to take that low-angle shot. Out to get a shot off, but that was not bad offense there.
Bandits back on offense. We're going to get a delayed penalty call on the Swarm now, and it's going to go against Jordan McIntosh, who cross-checked. I didn't see which Bandit player it was. It looked like it was Pat Saunders.
Yeah, put him down on the ground.
And Jones sends it back. Anthony Malcolm back over to Benesh. And a shot clock violation as they don't get a shot off. And the Swarm now will head to the penalty. McIntosh kind of knew it, even though he pled his case after throwing his hands in the air, but a stiff cross check in the back.
Georgia number 24, 2 minutes, checking from behind.
Yeah, I think Jordan felt he didn't check him as hard as it appeared when the Buffalo player went to the floor.
So now the Swarm will be shorthanded. Mark Stenhouse wants out of the penalty box badly.
I think he's getting it. And they're out now.
So it's a 5-on-4 situation right now. Benesh can't get it. Cole checks up on him in the corner. And Cole doing a great job of just holding him right there.
Great job of applying pressure without taking a penalty there against the boards.
Stenhouse shot is wide. 3 left to shoot. Now Stenhouse gets it on Cage and Poole with a big save. And we're going to get another penalty on the Swarm. Brian Cole's going to head to the box. So now we're going to be in a 5-on-3 situation. This is not what the Swarm wanted.
And as I said, Cole's doing a good job there against the Bulls.
55, 2 minutes for hold.
Doing a good job against the boards. He ends up picking up a hold call.
That Swarm penalty box a little crowded right now. Now what do you do here in a 5-on-3, Brian? These are extremely tough to kill off.
Yeah, they're really tough to kill off, and most teams will play 4 against 3 and leave one guy up high, as they will here. You just got to work hard to get to those low guys on the crease. And you see them rotating into it when the ball goes down. They rotate across crease right there. It's a beautiful play. He gets his stick on the ball as he's coming across to prevent that cross crease pass.
That. And here comes Ethan O'Connor, and he'll send it across. And Miles Thompson will stand out there alone, wait for some help.
So in the 4-on-3, as you're sliding across, that guy on the backside is open for a second. You got to try to get your stick in the lane, and Georgia did a beautiful job there of getting the stick in the lane and knocking it down.
Miles Thompson working around Adam Lyle Thompson rather. Lyle double teamed in the corner and just throws it against the boards as the shot clock expires. And now they got to hustle back to get the right defensive players on the floor. So it's O'Connor along with Sellers and Joel White. And they can't connect on the pass. What a break for the Swarm. And here comes Joel White in a one-on-one situation, headed down the field. Matched up against Andrew White. And he'll pull it back, it looks like.
He worked hard to try to set up an opportunity with the right hand.
And now White almost broke free there as he gets double teamed. He's just got to hold on to the ball, and he does not as it's sitting on the turf. Well, the Swarm have managed to kill off one of the 2 penalties.
5-on-4, a little bit easier to defend here. Still not easy, but definitely better than 4-on-3.
Look at that pickoff by Mike Poulin. Wow. Oh, and he loses it right back to Dane Smith, who scores. Oh, that's such a backbreaker. Poulin intercepted the pass and then carelessly tried to pump fake and lost it, and Smith was right there.
I think changed his mind kind of in the process.
Look at that. With just great extension to pick it off, and he just tried to pump fake it and lost it, and it went right in Smith's stick.
I think after the pump fake, he planned on O'Connor being open there, and when he started to go to throw it there, he saw Dane Smith was right there, tried to pull it back, and the ball popped out of his stick.
They had a great opportunity to kill that whole thing off.
Absolutely.
And so face-off violation gives Buffalo the ball back.
Penalty boxes are empty, though. We're back to 5-on-5 lacrosse.
Here's Stainhouse cutting towards the middle. Shot is wide. He gets his own rebound, throws it in the front to Benesh. And it's a turnover on the Bandits. So an 11-8 game. Here's Kyle Matisse. Here's Shane Jackson, 13 on the shot clock. Matisse gets it back, sends it over to Stotts. Randy Stotts relatively quiet tonight. And Miles Thompson with 4 on the shot clock. Has to do something quick here. And the shot never made it on Cage.
And again, pretty good execution on a pick and roll there with Matisse. Just couldn't quite corral the ball in front of the cage.
So the Swarm give up the power play goal, trailing by 3. You're watching Georgia Swarm Lacrosse on NLLTV.com.
Is brought to you in part by Sports Interaction, Canada's home for worldwide sports betting. Bet responsibly at sportsinteraction.com. Disclaimer, only residents of Canada may open an account with Sports Interaction. The service is not available to users outside of Canada.
Welcome back to the Infinite Energy Arena. We talked earlier about blown assignments. I think both teams have done a good job settling in, playing a good hard lacrosse, and now you kind of see a little bit of trading jabs with the two teams. They're kind of, both teams, like I said, are settled in and working a little bit harder, and it's just a matter of working hard to try and find that open man and see who's really going to land that next blow. Like you guys were saying, it's a game of momentum, so both teams are they're playing a little bit cautious, but both trying to look for that next big play.
All right, Drew, we'll see who comes up with the first. As the Swarm still trailing by 3, have never led in this game. And they'll need some stops here defensively, and just waiting for that run of goals that they've normally had. Dane Smith sends it over to Benesh, and the shot is wide. And Smith gets it back. Stainhouse with a shot deflected wide by Poulin. And the rebound goes to Mitch Jones.
That's a tough reset. Really good defensive set there by Georgia. Had an opportunity to get that ball just a little too high, and Buffalo gets another chance.
Stainhouse pump fakes, moves inside, flips it back to Dane Smith. Match up against Joel White. Shot and a huge save by Poulin. Poulin stuck to his gun, staying right on the post there.
Absolutely, and that's a tough matchup when it comes off with a flip back out off the pick and roll there. It's really a one-on-one. There's no help coming from Joel White. He does a good job making Dane Smith take a low-angle shot. And Poulin makes the save.
And a loose ball check on the Bandits will get the ball back to the Swarm as Jackson a little slow to get up. And here's Lyle working around a couple of defenders, and a bounce shot. Shane Jackson picks up the loose ball. You know, that was such a good. I didn't even know it left his stick until I saw it in front of the cage.
And I don't know how Shane Jackson got that ball back. I feel like there was a swarm of Bandit players there. And
Jordan Hall with a nifty move shot saved by DeRuzio, and Stotts gets the rebound.
Nice move by Jordan Hall, and a well-played shot as well.
Oh, great pass from Stotts to Lyle, and DeRuzio stonewalls him. Another rebound by the Swarm. That was a great pick and roll with a flip behind the head from Stotts.
Yeah, really pretty.
Here's Miles. Shane Jackson with a shot in the rebound. And we're going to have a penalty here on Buffalo.
Interference?
22, 2-minute minor holding.
So it'll be Andrew Watt, and you can just hear him say, "You grabbed him."
You grabbed him.
That is the definition of holding. You grabbed him.
But I didn't hold him for all that long. It was just a little
Watt
hold.
was not happy with the call.
Let's be clear, there's a lot of holding that goes on in this game. It's a matter of the official determining that you really impeded a player's opportunity to do something on the offensive end.
And the Swarm looking for their second power play goal tonight. Shot from Stotts deflected, never made it on net. And now Lyle gets it. Tried to pass to his brother, was off the boards. Miles finally gets it back. His shot is deflected wide. And we are going to get another penalty on Buffalo.
I think checked him right into the crease there.
And now the Swarm are going to go on a 5-on-3 advantage for 1:34. So Kevin Brownell.
Well, number 8, 2 minutes, roughing.
We'll take a quick look at this and see what Brownell did. There's the extra shove right there.
Yeah, the extra shove, yep. I said into the crease, into the goal is more accurate.
Ball is loose on the turf after a shot. Swarm get it. And a fresh 30. And Palace behind his head to Shane Jackson. Cross to Stotts, who misses.
Great ball movement there, though.
In fairness, I think it was deflected by DeRuzio off the Stotts shot. And Palace sends it across. And now gets it back. 18 on the shot clock. Stotts with the shot is saved by DeRuzio. Ball is loose, being fought for by Miles Thompson. A couple of players going after it. Nobody can get it. And then finally, Miles Thompson gets it. Or Lyle Thompson, rather.
And the key thing with that was off a shot, so the shot clock was not running.
And a score! Lyle did the dirty work. Miles gets the benefit.
Yeah, love the calm and persistence from the Georgia Swarm there. And as you said all night.
Yeah, standing there. Nice pass from Palace. Look at that, almost went right at the head of Mitch DeSnew.
Yeah, it literally went right at the head of him, and that's the toughest spot for a defender to get there. When it comes up around your head, it's very difficult to get your stick in that lane to deflect the pass.
Goal number 27. Swarm will still be on the power play for another minute and 8 seconds. Well, let's see if they can make this back to a 1-goal game. And face-off one.
Clean win by McIntosh.
The Swarm. I'll tell you, you know, just seeing Mike Poulin pick that up made me think that you hope that that goal isn't what comes back to be the difference.
Yeah, yeah.
And Palace now waiting, flips it behind his head. Gets it back. Shane Jackson with a shot save from DeRuzio.
Nice job defending.
Pass, yeah. Johnny Palace did a fantastic job of not leaving his man.
Yeah, they shut off every opportunity to move the ball there, force the turnover. And all it does is that increases their time on the power play, right? They get the ball back more quickly.
Miles Thompson feeds it into Stotts, back to Palace. Stotts can't connect on the pass. Has to get it off the boards. 9 on the shot clock. Palace with a low shot and scores! A hat trick for Powers.
I can say Johnny Powell is one of the best in the league at doing that, using the eyes of his stick to reach around the defender and put it on that far low pipe. Just reaches around. That's a tough shot to save. It looks pretty routine, but he's extending those arms around the defender. The goalie has no chance. He's literally looking at that spot on the other side of the defensive player from where he's actually shooting it.
I've said it repeatedly, these guys can get that ball in the size of a shoebox and not miss. And it is a 1-goal game. So the Swarm with...
And I say he can see it on the other side of the defender. Sometimes he shoots that. He literally can't see the spot he's throwing. He just has faith that the stick can get it there with a better angle than his eyes have.
Swarm still a man up. There's Dane Smith with 15 on the shot clock. Anthony Malcolm being checked up on by 2 Swarm defenders with a pass in the middle and a great score, a huge save by by Mike Poulin rather. And we are going to get a timeout, as it is a 1-goal game. See the Swarm doing what they do best. We'll take a timeout, come back. You're watching Swarm Lacrosse on NLLTV.com.
It's time for another edition of Versus. Sean Evans going up against Miles Thompson. Champion play is Miles one-handed behind the back shot on the Colorado Mammoth. That one was a no-brainer. It goes up this week against Sean Evans, who cuts inside, takes the behind the back shot, short side on Mike Poulin, and makes no mistake. So fans, who have you got? Sean Evans from the Black Wolves or Miles Thompson from the Georgia Swarm? Head to Twitter now, cast your vote. Right, fans, time for another.
He's got Digby on the take, scores.
Now back over to Dane Smith with a shot, hit the goal post inside.
Welcome back to the Harris Cherokee Casino Field in the Infinite Energy Arena. Alongside Brian Silcott, I'm Mark Zinno. Drew Petkoff also joins us. Swarm trailing by 1 here, 4:19 left in the third quarter. Swarm have trailed every ounce of this game.
You see here, they're going to start with the goalie off and 6 runners on the floor. It's just a security thing to make sure they get the ball into the offensive end. Despite the fact that Buffalo is providing no pressure, just increase the probability by having the captain, Jordan McIntosh, start with the ball. He'll run off, and Mike Poulin will go right back to his usual place.
And Swarm on the power play still for another 10 seconds. And they take advantage! The Swarm come all the way back to tie it up.
I think this says a lot about what this Swarm team is all about, is their ability to go down with such a huge deficit and battle back. And the cap of these last 2 have been by Johnny Powell. The first one going low and away, down low left. The next one he comes right back and puts it literally in the corner, top right.
4 goals tonight, giving 18 on the season in just his 8th game of the year, Brian.
Yeah, remember when the beginning of the year when he wasn't playing and they were playing well, we're like, well, how's Johnny Powell gonna fit into this offense? Well, he fit in pretty well when he came back.
And guess what? The Swarm are headed back to the power play. Kevin Brownell tangled up with it looked like it was Ethan O'Connor. And you can see the takedown right there.
That's a hold. That's a hold.
Right in front of the official. Not going to get away with that one.
Nope.
So the Swarm have an opportunity to grab their first lead of the game.
Remember, this game started 5-1, and the Swarm looked just awful early in the game.
I think back to last year, and I remember Ed Como talking so much about, the Swarm hadn't played a full 60-minute game. You know, a lot of times they were leading, they were blowing fourth quarter leads late. And now this is a more experienced team from last year. Still very young, more experience, and you see a team now that can overcome big deficits.
Absolutely, absolutely. And just doesn't seem rattled. Like, they didn't seem at any point, you know, I was getting concerned when they were down. They didn't seem all that concerned. They just keep doing their thing with faith that over the course of the game, they're going to score more goals.
Dane Smith with a low shot. Pullen comes up with the save.
Look at Mike Pullen bouncing around athletically there. I don't know why they take him off to put on McIntosh to clear the ball.
So the Swarms will set things up offensively.
Let's get another one right here.
There's Hall at the top. Gets it back, flips it back to Palace behind his head to Shane Jackson. Shot deflected, not deflected wide, missed totally. And Swarm player lost his helmet.
Yeah, right in the middle of the action, trying to get his helmet back on there.
And Miles Thompson alone catches the ball right in front of the net. And has to grab his own rebound after the save from DeRuzio. And another penalty on, no, they're not calling, just a violation. Loose ball. And DeRuzio comes up with a save after a give and go to Jackson.
Big save by DeRuzio, because that was quick off the whistle.
There is Dane Smith. Gets closed down by two Swarm defenders. Ball pops up in the air, and somehow he gets it back and just throws it towards the net.
He was setting up, trying to split back through the double team that whole time. I think the Swarm defenders were on to him.
And the penalty is killed off, so we're back to even strength. And we got a tie ball game. There's Stotts on the far side, 15 left to shoot. Flips it in the middle. A shot by Matisse and scores!
Well executed the pick and roll there. I said earlier in the game that was going to be a necessity the way Buffalo was playing on defense. Great job of Matisse. He got his hands on his man, gets him away, and then beautiful finish, dumping it down through the 5-hole after the high leap to pull the goaltender up. Throws it back down through the 5-hole.
The Swarm trailed 5-1. They trailed 8-3. They trailed 11-8. They now have a 12-11 lead with 1:27 left in the third quarter. First time tonight they've had the lead. And now the Swarm getting a little physical, doing some checking of their own, Brian.
Taking the stick away, getting after the ball.
It was a big scrum on the floor. And they're going to award possession to Buffalo.
That's one where they're just looking to call something to get the ball off the floor.
As Dane Smith gets it all alone, and he ties things up.
Yeah, and you had what looked like an illegal screen there, but it was actually Dane Smith got checked into the Swarm play, and I think we're taking a penalty here as well.
So the double whammy. This was
After the goal,
extracurricular.
Georgia 44, 2-minute minor, dead ball foul.
Yeah, Chad Tutton, after the goal, as you heard the official say, that's why he's in the box.
So you see on the pick here, the ability to,
Stainhouse.
Stainhouse pushes Dane Smith. Stainhouse gets pushed into the man that's playing Stainhouse, so it's not an illegal pick.
And you see Tutton right there throw his head back and just in frustration.
I got Smith to my side. I wanted to say Billy D. Smith. Billy D. having the night off today after a battle last night.
So we're under a minute left. And Joel White gets it back near the middle of the field. And now he makes his move to his left and gives it over to Shane Jackson. There's only 12 on the shot clock. Here's Jordan Hall. And Jordan Hall uncharacteristically quiet tonight. Both he and Randy Stotts together 0 goals, which is very uncommon for the Swarm.
And Hall had a couple decent looks, and Randy Stotts had a couple nice looks at the cage as well. They've both been participating in the offense, though. Randy Stotts in particular has been very active in the offense.
And a shot from Benesh that beats Poulin. And Benesh with his 5th tally of the night. And that is a gut punch with 4.6 seconds left.
Yeah, and I think that was a little bit of a screen. I didn't see, I think maybe Jones set the screen that didn't allow the defender that wanted to come over and help, was being screened and just couldn't get into the inside.
So the Swarm, barring something crazy happening here, as it will not, and the horn expires. After 45 minutes, find themselves trailing by 1. Came back to fight, take the lead. They're back down.
I don't know about you, but even though 2017 isn't over, I'm already excited for the 2018 NLL season.
And I think that's because the 2017 season has been so exciting. There's been so many games that have been decided by just one single goal. Lots of games go into overtime, some highlight reel plays on any given night. Games you just don't want to miss.
It has been action-packed for sure, and fans, if you're like me and already counting down the days until 2018 NLL season, well, we have some news for you. You can renew and subscribe to NLLTV.com today for the 2018 season. And if you do it now, you're gonna get a discount on your subscription.
Also, a chance to win a pair of tickets to the 2017 Champions Cup Final. Lots on the line.
Also, you can win a meet and greet with your favorite player or the commissioner himself. There are so many incredible prizes if you renew today, so don't miss out on this opportunity.
Welcome back to Harris Cherokee Casino Field in the Infinite Energy Arena. The Swarm trail the Buffalo Bandits 13-12. After 3 quarters, they've trailed after 3 quarters 5 times this year, 2-3. Trying to even that up at 3-3 tonight. Let's go down to Drew Petkoff.
Thanks, guys. Both teams pride themselves on being big, physical, aggressive teams, but I just overheard the Bandits saying that we need to not give the refs an opportunity to make a call. We need to stay out of the penalty box. I'm sure that's on the mind of both teams, as there was a lot of penalties in that 3rd period and a lot of just loose ball calls. So both teams are going to look to play physical, hard, and aggressive, but they're going to be a little bit wary of the penalties. So look for kind of a bit of a cleaner game maybe from both teams this period.
Well, we'll find out how the last 15 minutes shake out. As Drew said, lots of penalties so far. Officials have been busy. And that may be something that may decide the final 15 minutes.
I think that statement's probably been made on the Buffalo bench for every year of their existence since they came in the league. I think in 1992, they take a lot of penalties. It's part of their history. And he's absolutely right, though. They need to clean it up. They can't play this game shorthanded if they want to win.
Swarm have outscored their opponents by 12 in the 4th quarter so far this year.
This is a great test for a team going in the playoffs. Tough game, physical game, 4th quarter.
And Mike Poulin with a big save. Oh, it actually beat him, I'm sorry. But as you heard, no goal from the crease violation. And here's Lyle Thompson. He loses the ball and then has to fight for it to get it back. He gets knocked to the turf, gets up on his feet, still maintains possession. That was impressive.
Yeah. Little things that he does are truly incredible.
Shot doesn't make it on cage, and we're going to get a violation here. on the Swarm.
Look at
Here's
how
Benesh. Go ahead,
see how high all the Buffalo players are, which is what opens up those lanes when they're playing with their entire offense all the way up near those sponsor logos and nobody down low right there.
And after a save from Poole, the Swarm try to rush down the field and have to pull it up. And get the offense out with 15 on the shot clock. And here's Palace, gives it over to Jackson, shoots it, scores!
Shane Jackson on the wrong side of the floor there does a great job of finishing on the righty side with his left hand, sneaks it back in the corner. Good look from Johnny Palace and a little twister action to get it there from the wrong side here. You see he's got his left hand, which has got the worst angle. He uses the twister action where he pushes that top hand across his face to get it back in front of the goal and finish.
So tied it up at 13. And it's face-off won by Buffalo.
Yeah, clean win there.
And a shot from Malcolm, saved from Poulin. And Joel White gets hit to the turf, but
nice job
still manages to get the ball forward. And McIntosh gives it across to Ranigan, who scores! Ranigan was sitting alone in front of the crease, waiting, and finally got it.
Ranigan, the lefty on the backside. McIntosh really wanted to take that one himself, I think. And Ranigan looking like he's been doing that his whole life. A little dip and dunk, goes low and away, gets the goalie to move, opens up that top right-hand corner, flips it in there. Nice finish by Ranigan.
And the Johns Hopkins alone with a fist pump, getting the Swarm the lead back.
The trio of Ranigan and Joel White and my gosh, name's escaping me. I'm sorry, Brian Cole.
There you go.
That's what I'm thinking of. Our fun group to watch coming out of the back end.
And Mike Poulin got a piece of that. Not sure he knew he did. And the Swarm get the rebound, and they'll transition to offense as Connor Sellers walks it over the middle of the field. Stotts is waiting, feeds it in the middle to Miles Thompson, who scores.
I can't wait to see this replay. This is a nice finish. A great little look to the inside there. Nice catch by Miles Thompson. But watch this finish, though. Sliding to the inside, it's a tough catch, but then he uses like a full twister action to get all the way across the other side with his stick.
And his brother almost got in his way.
I mean, he goes all the way around with that stick and pushes it back. That's brilliant.
The Swarm had their largest lead of the night at 2.
Good time to have it in the fourth quarter.
And we're going to get a goaltending change from Buffalo. David DeRuzio is going to head to the bench. Anthony Cosmo will come in here for what may be the last 11:59.
And Anthony Cosmo is for considerable amount of time, was considered the best goaltender in this league. He's been doing it for a long time. He's very, very solid. And Buffalo's putting him in right now, hoping for a little change of energy, change of momentum at the back end.
Well, I mentioned it was an 11-8 game in the third quarter. And the Swarm, as you can see, have outscored them 7-2. And so Troy accordingly makes the change. And a shot from Saunders, saved from Poulin.
Great job by Poulin moving across there. He had his whole body in front of that one.
And here's McIntosh, working his way into the offensive zone, sends it back to Jordan Hall. Here's Matisse. Slides inside. Matisse tried to, and then ends up flipping it back to McIntosh. I'm not sure if he got a check or got flipped back to McIntosh.
Yeah, I don't think it would have counted even if McIntosh scored there because Matisse was still in the crease.
And Dane Smith loses it. But it comes back up to Reardon. 3 on the shot clock for the Bandits. Good defense here by the Swarm as Benesh is getting checked up on heavy, and we get a shot clock violation.
Yeah, great defense. Great defense there.
And Noble sends it to Miles Thompson. His shot is wide, and it goes into the seats.
He used the term organized a lot to talk about the defense. That's really what it's about. It's about staying organized and working as a unit. It's not always about the individual one-on-one matchups.
And Mike Poulin, wow, on the give and go, stonewalls it.
That's the save of the night, I think, right there.
And you take a look in our top left corner here.
Yeah, Poulin getting all the way across there to make that save.
And on the other end, oh, it's on the back end of the cage. Action going back and forth now on both ends of the floor. Poulin steps out for a big save. And here comes a home run pass to McIntosh that's complete. McIntosh pulls back and couldn't connect with Jordan Hall.
Great job by McIntosh, both on the catch and the decision to roll away. Unfortunately, could not link up with Jordan Hall.
And delayed penalty coming on the Swarm now as you see Anthony Cosmo running to the bench. And Poulin makes the save, and we're going to get a stoppage in play.
Two minutes slashing.
So 2 minutes slashing. Swarm will have to kill off a penalty as they lead by 2. 9:25 left. You're watching Georgia Swarm Lacrosse on NLLTV.com.
Versus Sean Evans going up against Miles Thompson. Champion play is Miles one-handed behind the back shot on the Colorado Mammoth. That one was a no-brainer. It goes up this week against Sean Evans, who cuts inside, takes the behind the back shot, short side on Mike Poulin, and makes no mistake. So fans, who have you got? Sean Evans from the Black Wolves or Miles Thompson from the Georgia Swarm? Head to Twitter now, cast.
So the Swarm will have to kill off a penalty here with 9:25 left. And leading by 2. Remember when we talked with Drew Petkoff at the start of the fourth that penalties may play a role in these final 15 minutes. It's been a penalty-riddled game, and the Swarm get the first of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and I think he was thinking specifically about Buffalo, but it absolutely holds true for the Swarm as well. The game gets infinitely more difficult when you have less guys on the floor.
And Mitch Jones quickly takes advantage. And so Jones with his second of the night.
You'll see in the replay here, Mitch Jones just sitting on the backside wide open after the pass down low. They bring it back to the same side, and then the skip across just beats the defense and Mike Poulin.
So it's back to a 1-goal game.
I like that action of starting to carry behind and then bring it back to the same side and then looking for the skip. It really got the defense flowing back towards the ball to open up the skip pass on the backside.
And the Swarm missed that initial pass, but Randy Stotts gets it. And Matisse hits one off the post.
Brilliant reset by Matisse. Bounces off the post right back to himself to reset the shot clock.
And Randy Stotts with a good scoring opportunity.
Nice move by Stotts, setting up that roll to the inside, protecting his stick. Got a good look at the cage, but couldn't finish. Cosmo there.
And a long rebound comes out to Brian Cole. And he gives it up to Matisse, who will wait for the rest of the offense to come out.
Nice little hitch move by Dane Smith there to get that shot off late in the shot clock, but ends up with nothing out of it.
And Miles Thompson flips it back to Lyle, who cuts inside with a nice move and scores!
And I'm not sure which one I like better. The toe drag to beat the man was very, very smooth, but then the finish again is a thing of beauty here as he comes underneath with the toe drag to beat him, angles back to the inside, and we'll see a little twister action there to put it back on the far side. Really, really well done by Lyle Thompson.
A great overhead shot here as Thompson beats him over the right shoulder, and it makes it a 2-goal game again. And so Lyle Thompson with his third of the night, 37th on the season, came into the night 4th in the NLL in scoring. As Ethan O'Connor gets jammed up against the boards. And Buffalo steals the possession. And here we go, an errant pass. Jason Noble picks up the loose ball, sprinting in by himself, shoots wide.
I think he got a check there right at the end. I think Priolo got a little bit of that stick, which caused the shot to go sail high. Priolo runs pretty well and has those long arms.
Joel White checking up on, it looks like Stainhouse. And Poulin with the save, ball is loose, almost rolls in, and Poulin had to stop it. You get the feeling, Brian, that one more goal by the Swarm, kind of, I'm not going to say would ice this. That's the cushion that you feel comfortable
with. The 3-goal lead, you're saying, yeah, it would feel a lot better.
That's the cushion you feel comfortable with. And there it is!
Well, you ask and Lyle Thompson delivers, right? He said, all right.
It was good.
All right, Mark,
asking for a pizza one day. But Thompson right there with a low one that bounces just before it gets to Cosmo and beats him.
Sees the opportunity. Look how quickly he sets those feet in transition to the shot. That's something I think the kids don't work on enough. Kids work on throwing the ball harder and harder and trying to throw the ball 100 miles an hour. It's so much more about how quickly you can release the ball. The time from when the ball gets into your stick to when you get it out. And Lyle Thompson does a great job there of setting the feet and getting that shot off.
And the Swarm continue the offensive onslaught here as they did try to close out a franchise record 11 wins.
Remember, there was a, I don't know, 7, 8, maybe longer time period of this game when they looked bad on offense. And then all of a sudden, when they get the groove going, start feeling it, they put up 17 goals tonight.
It didn't look that way from the outset at all. As a shot by the Swarm deflected, never made it on cage, picked up by Buffalo.
Yeah, nice ground ball there.
So 5:25 left. Poulin with a save. And almost the rebound got knocked back in.
Poulin again getting himself square in front of that shot. Read where he was going, stepped across. That literally hit him right in the middle of the body as he moved across to the ball.
And the Swarm with Randy Stotts with a shot and a save from Cosmo.
The Swarm's ability. Oh, we got a little scuffle going.
Stotts is in a fight right in front of his own bench with Matt Bennett. And the helmets have come off, the gloves have come off, and a takedown from Stotts. And Stotts with some words for Matt Bennett. And Stotts jogs off to the penalty box and gets a high five from Ethan O'Connor, and the Swarm fans love it.
And I think that is the first fisticuffs in this
Georgia
arena.
number 83, Buffalo number 15. Both have 5 minutes for fighting.
Someone's looking for an instigator call there. I didn't see how that started. What was the origins of that altercation?
That's a nice takedown
I
right there.
think Randy Stotts has a little judo background, perhaps, with that throw.
It was an MMA-style shoulder throw.
I have to mention a stat that you brought up before the game that threw at me when you came in the arena tonight.
Well, we're going to get to that stat when we come back. So Swarm with their largest lead of the night. See if they can finish this off. You're watching Georgia Swarm Lacrosse on NLLTV.com.
As you mentioned earlier, this was probably one of his best performances so far this season, and under a pressure situation, he really helped out his team on the back end. He was even named the first star in the game, so that is why Frank Giuliano is my unstrung hero for this week.
Now, Mia, I turn it over to you for this week's unstrung.
Welcome back to Harris Cherokee Casino Field in the Infinite Energy Arena alongside Brian Silcutt. I'm Mark Zinno. Let's go to our man between the benches, Drew Petkoff.
Hey, how's it going, guys? So that fight, I think that's just a spillover of emotions. Both players, it's been a really physical game. I think it's been a really emotional game, lots of back and forth. As Stotts was coming to the bench, you know, they were kind of exchanging words, exchanging pushes, and it just kind of escalated from there. So it wasn't anything malicious. It was just emotions spilling over.
See, that's in true box lacrosse player style. That to him, punching someone else in the face is not malicious. Nothing malicious. Just exchanging pleasantries.
His face ran into my fist. What are you talking about?
So the stat of interest that you threw at me.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at the teams who get an interception there by, that's Mitch DeSnew as he sprints down the field. For all the scoring that the Swarm have done this year, and they lead the league in goals scored, they do not have a single player in the top 10 of the NLL in shots taken.
Yeah.
And to me, that was surprising, because if you look at, when we see these teams, the Swarm play these guys who get a save from pulling. Take, for example, Dane Smith. Dane Smith, I think, is 8th in the league this year with 186 shots taken.
Yep.
I mean, the Swarm, because they share the ball so well and do it so much, it's not all coming from one guy.
Right, and almost every team, I mean, you look at the top 10.
They got to count.
Most of the teams have someone in there, right? Especially a team with a lot of goals.
If not one or two guys.
And it's a statement to the way this team plays offense, and they just move the ball. It doesn't matter who scores. Doesn't matter who gets the shot. Whoever has the best shot is going to get the opportunity to score.
And there's an opportunity right there, and it is taken advantage of by Kevin Brownell. Or was that Stainhouse? Sorry, that's Stainhouse.
Stainhouse, there was a time when Stainhouse was one of the more spectacular players to watch in this league. He's a little bit older now, been around for a long time. But he can definitely,
for 16 years.
He can definitely still play. He can definitely still put it in the back of the net.
And that was a cutter. Stainhouse was coming right off the bench and was left all alone behind the defense.
Yep, challenge flag. Which means we're going to get to see this one a couple more times. I'm thinking it probably was on the coming down before it went in, as opposed to the stepping in before he took off, but I'm not sure. Let's see what we got.
Yeah, as we get Ian Garrison picking up the flag.
See the discussion there. Tell them exactly what happened.
discussion with Como is over. And they're not even going to look at this.
They're not going to look at this one either.
We'll take a look at it here as well.
And that's a goal.
Yeah. Stenhouse was still in the air. Just I couldn't see from that replay where he left from, but
yep.
We'll take a look at it here. Yeah, he's in the air. Maybe Ian Garrison was doing him a favor, so don't waste it.
Yeah.
He may need it. So it's back to a 2-goal game. And here's Dane Smith falling. And Bourne will get credit for a save on that. I don't know how Dane Smith even got that ball out of his stick.
Yeah, Dane Smith working hard to get underneath there, but a good job of the defense just making him be at such a severe angle. He just fell to the ground.
And a violation will get the ball right back to Buffalo. Oh, Mike Bourne coming up big.
And a good job getting back in on defense. That was a dangerous situation there, and the Swarm able to get back and get organized real quickly. Buffalo coming out and double teaming early here.
And Lyle Thompson has to forward off a couple of checks.
The confidence of Lyle Thompson just to keep carrying into that double team.
Interesting what the Swarm chose to do there. I don't know if we caught that, but Jordan McIntosh, instead of going for the loose ball, ran right into the bench, and the defensive guys got out so they couldn't prevent an odd man rush.
Yeah, that's just smart play. I mean, Jordan McIntosh, you mentioned all the time what a heady player is. He's been out here a long time as well, and he recognizes that defending the goal is job one. So he's going to get that defensive player on rather than go and get involved in the scuffle.
And here's Shane Jackson, who gets checked up on as he makes a diving shot that is saved, and we are going to get a penalty on Miles Thompson. Wow, this is huge. And I think Thompson was trying to clear out some space for Shane Jackson as he was coming through.
They call it illegal cross check? That's what it looked like.
He's on the play. Georgia number 2, 5 minutes, high stick. Buffalo number 23, 2 minutes for slashing. You got it.
Wow.
So they got Priolo as well.
Let's see if we can look here. It's right there in front. It's away from the ball. And look at that hack right there from.
Oh yeah,
Priolo. And then Thompson goes up near his head. Wow.
Yeah, Priolo got that's very clear. Slash and high stick.
Well, effectively, unless this game goes deep in overtime, Georgia has lost Miles Thompson for the remainder of the game.
Yes.
Now the Swarm will be a man down. And for some reason, Connor Sellers has gone to the box. Sellers is the in-home player for the Swarm.
Yeah, there are 2 players in the Georgia box as well.
And a loose ball is picked up by the Swarm. And this may be exactly what they need.
Yep, kill a little time here.
Just kill a little time here. Just don't turn it over early on in the possession. And Jason Noble loses it. And that's exactly what happens. And we're going to get a whistle with just under 1 minute left.
Timeout, Buffalo?
And it's going to be a timeout on Buffalo.
It seemed like the timeout was called. Everybody stopped before the whistle was actually blown. Everybody stopped playing because they heard the timeout being called. Except Noble, who went and started slashing the goaltender.
So trailing by 2, under a minute, and on the power play for Buffalo. Obviously, they want to try to score early in the power play and not have it in an extended situation.
Absolutely. They want to try to double up here, get the goal early so they get an opportunity to win a draw and get another possession in here. They do not have the time to mess around and let Georgia get the ball back here. They need to score, win the face-off, and get the ball back at the offensive end.
You can see Sean Ferris talking to his defense and planning out what he wants to do here. Alongside Eddie Como, Sean Ferris to Ed Como's left, or our left on the screen. And the Swarm going for a franchise record 11th win tonight, still wanting the #1 overall seed in the NLL, as both them and Saskatchewan have 10 wins so far.
Yep.
But for Buffalo, they are fighting for their playoff lives.
And I think Georgia, this game has more importance to them right now in their ability to battle and win a close game against a physical team in the fourth quarter. And those are the kind of things that you can feed on when you get in the playoffs. The ability to come up with a win, battle back from being down, and then fight at the end to hold on for the win is of tremendous value as you go into the playoffs.
I would get the feeling one save from Mike Poulin here might really be actually saving the game.
Yeah, it could end, especially if he controls the rebound.
I mean, you know shots are probably going to come pretty quick. They're not going to have a lot of time to set anything up.
Yeah, I got to believe they're going to look for a skip real quickly to create a good look on a moving goaltender.
I'm surprised Cordingley isn't. I mean, I know it's 5-on. I guess a 6-on-4 doesn't really help you in lacrosse.
Not really.
And there is Benesh who scores. He has now got 6 goals tonight.
Yeah, he earned him. I think he had 3 and 4 the first time out against Georgia. Ryan Benesh is a fantastic offensive player, and he clearly plays particularly well against the Georgia Swarm. This one he beats him on the short side, the near side here with this shot. Left-handed shot beats him over the shoulder on the short side. So we're back to full strength. 1-goal lead. There seems to be some shuffling around of players.
And both teams trying to get the right personnel on the field.
Georgia putting 3 back at the defensive end for obvious reasons here.
On the field is confirmed, good goal.
Under a minute, every goal is reviewed. So,
well, no, Georgia still has 4. It was a major penalty on.
Yeah,
it was high, hit to the head. So it was a 5-minute major.
This is a very precarious situation here, and a very important face-off for the Swarm.
So McIntyre are going to try to go back. It's going to be 3-on-3 there.
As you can see, the Swarm box loaded with 3 different guys as they fight for the face-off. It's loose on the turf. Fought. Still no sign of who's got it yet. Still no sign. Now Buffalo comes up with it. So about an 8-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock.
And here they are going to go 6-on-4 now. They are going to go with the 6-on-4 with his final shot. It's now worth the risk.
More than anything, just for a rebound's sake, I would think, Brian. And a save from Poulin. And a timeout called by the Swarm with 17 seconds left.
And I think Cosmo just went out there and told him a little extra time perhaps ran off the clock.
As we take Benesh with a low bounce shot. Ooh, and Poulin caught her on his right shoulder.
Yeah, that was a good shot. Bounced it to that far side. Poulin just got a piece of it, and enough of a piece to corral it and gain possession of the ball as well, which is critical there. You don't want that kicking off into the corner and giving Buffalo another crack at it.
And they may be checking the official time left on the clock.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit that ran off. It was around 18.3 or so. Oh, they're going all the way back to 21. Wow, that was generous.
Yes, 4 seconds is a lot of time. But the Swarm will start with the possession.
Yes, that was very generous. I thought it was around 18 point something. When
they got to play keep away here. What is Buffalo's strategy?
Buffalo's strategy is going to be to pressure the ball all over the floor. I mean, you know, if they can get them into a corner, it's the ideal situation. Obviously, they're going to try to prevent being in a corner. You have to be willing to dodge and move the ball. You can't just, it's not like field lacrosse where you can just use the space to keep the ball moving. It's a much more confined area, so they're going to be pressured. It looks like
so Jordan Hall along
looks
with
like they're going to
Thompson.
pressure them without a goaltender. So they're playing 6-on-5 against them to create this pressure, which means the net's open. 6-on-4, I'm sorry, which means the net's open, but you risk the turnover if you take the shot and don't make it.
And there it is.
So they go with the dump low and then go after the ground ball with their best player.
Lyle Thompson gets the ground ball, has to work his way through some defenders, being checked up on by 5 different guys. Finally, the ball's knocked loose. Dane Smith gets it as he comes up. 4 seconds left. Dane Smith charging on net. Shot save from Poulin. And another save, and that's the game.
Poulin.
Mike Poulin comes coming up huge twice in the final seconds, preserving a Swarm victory.
That's a hard-fought win for the Georgia Swarm. A physical game, tough battle. They were down early, battled back, and then hung on to win. This is the one they'll be talking about.
And here's Dane Smith with a jump shot sort of on the first one, going up high. And look at Poulin rising up just as high.
Getting that arm up to stop it, but it's not over yet, folks.
And Anthony Malcolm gets the rebound.
Poulin with
another save.
Gets the first one with the right arm, second one with the left hand. Great job by Mike Poulin. Look at this effort by Dane Smith, though, as well, to get to the cage.
See Poulin rising up with him. Poulin just somehow maintaining his balance, hanging on to the top of the cage. Anthony Malcolm right in the right spot. And Poulin just squats down, deflects it wide, and the Swarm wins 17-16.
Love the reaction from Brannigan there, coming down and hugging his goaltender. That's a beautiful thing.
So the Swarm reach a franchise record 11 wins. They win 17-16 over the